Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have the prayer and the pledge by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter.
Dear God, we ask you for your presence today. We acknowledge that we cannot do anything without you, Lord. We depend on your grace and mercy to lead us and guide us in your righteousness. Help us, Lord, to not be discouraged, but instead be encouraged when things are tough. We know your ways are perfect, and we should work diligently to be more like you. Bless us with more faith and hope that we may accomplish what you want us to do and be. Let us always remember who we are and whose we are. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Pro Tem Dan Doyle.
Here.
Councilmember Natalie Lopez.
Present.
Councilmember Marlon Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember David Broussard.
Here.
Councilmember Deidre Ledbetter.
Here.
Councilmember Sherry Guidry.
Present.
Councilmember Dustin Swear.
Here. Thank you. First item is public comment. I'll take this time to ask you to silence your cell phones and to remember you have 3 minutes, and it's not a conversation back and forth. We have some comment cards.
Yes, we have Ms. Della Noah from District 5 to comment on agenda item 5G, which is demolition of 543 Lafayette Street.
Yes, ma'am. You come
Ms.
up.
Noah?
Ms. Noah, you want to come and comment?
This is my first time being here.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not sure of the procedures.
You just tell us your name
My
and
name is Della Noah.
well, good evening. Good evening. And now we're talking about this property, so you tell us about the property.
I have inherited that property, and in the last few years I've tried to keep it up, but I don't live in the city limits, so I'm not really able to access and check on the property like I would like to. But since I'm no longer working, I can't fix the property as I had started out doing. And I would like to get an extension to me for completion of the work I had started. I have to get in touch with the other heirs that are involved in the property to see if they can help with refurbishment. And that's about the same.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. We have Ms. Cassandra Watson to make a comment regarding the closing of Caroline Street Railroad Crossing, agenda item number 6.
Good evening, my name's Cassandra Watson. I live at 404 Caroline Street. For a long time, we've been talking about whether or not that crossing should be closed. And I've always said we don't want it closed. I'm here to say tonight, I'm kind of torn either way. Whatever y'all decide upon is fine. We have a lot of speeding on that street right now. We have a lot of children on that street. We have no stop sign. It is a straight shot. I know that's important for a lot of people. But we have a lot of children on that street. A lot of new families have moved in the last 2 years. So if the council decides that it should be closed for safety reasons, I wouldn't fight it. I don't see anybody else here from my street tonight, so I can't speak for them. And as far as the installation of all the other arms and flashing lights, I hope we get that done, because we need that in the other streets. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it?
That's it. That's all.
All right. Madam Clerk, item 2.
Acceptance of the minutes. Acceptance of the minutes of the October 1st, 2019 meeting as published on October 9th, 2019.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Lewis. Do I have a second? Councilman Broussard. Are there any comments? Hearing, seeing no comments, no objections, please vote your machines. Thank y'all. Item 3. We have no persons to address the council. We'll move on to item 4.
Resolutions. Resolution awarding 6-month bids and annual bids for cleaning and maintenance supplies, high calcium quicklime pebble, liquid chlorine and sulfur dioxide, ferrous chloride solution, ferric chloride, bioxide AE35, road materials, and sanitary sewer materials.
Do I have a motion? Motion by
Second.
Councilman Swear and a second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Hearing, seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank y'all. Item 5.
Property standards and public hearing. Public hearings on the demolition and removal of properties listed on the attached resolution number 1959 as advertised on October 1st, 2019. A, demolition of property located at 806 Buckeye Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 5.
I need a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Motion by Councilwoman Guidry and a second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. I figured that was coming. Is there any public comment on this property? There's public comment. Yes, sir. Please approach.
I would like to ask a question, why y'all want to demolish my place?
What's his name?
Simple question, why you want to demolish my building?
Mr. Lander?
Well, when you see the pictures, it's open, it's rotting, and it needs a lot of repair work.
You want to pull them up?
Yeah. Let me see what I need to press.
We have 13 of them. We certainly need them.
Okay,
There we go.
all right, this is 806 Buckeye.
Okay.
As you can see, the door's off. There's a lot of rotten wood around it. The windows all busted. That's another one.
Okay, y'all looked at the building, now look at me. This is really a failure of the city, protecting that piece of property. I have renovated that place twice already. And every time I go there, busted windows, busted doors. It's not my responsibility to go and harm somebody. This is the city's responsibility to offer me protection. I am not criticizing the city police. They're doing their job. But the city police needs to be more supported, and we need more protection for this piece of property. I asked the sheriff when he was there, I said, when he used to be in the city, I said, if this is a drug dealer's place, why can't you go catch them? They're coming to you with their drugs. Go there and catch them in that building. Because if you destroy this building here, they're going to go and open another building. They're going to destroy somebody else's house and go inside. This is not the first building over there. I dare you, Mayor, to stand up on Ann Street for 5 minutes at night. I dare you. I've been there. You know, there is no protection over there. There is no, I mean, I don't want to criticize the police department, but I dare any one of them to go over there on Ann Street and stand up for 5 minutes. I did. That's not the only place I got destroyed like this. There's a bunch of them on Ann Street, on Carroll Street, on everywhere. You see, that's not my responsibility. That is not my problem. My problem, I have no protection. That thing had been renovated twice already. Twice. Go in and see. Already lost 6 buildings been burned by people. You know, and they're watching what the city is doing to me. They know, they're seeing it. You know, the clinic that y'all remember, I remember his word, exact word when he said it. The Mr. Mayor, when he was Mayor Pro Tem. He said, let's vote on destroying that building and put it over his head. I remember that, and it's in the minute. It rings in my brain every minute, every time I go to sleep. It rings, my old clinic been burned. That's not the only place burned for me. You know, there's an attack on people like us. There's a lot of attack, you know. So I don't know. I don't think you have the right to destroy my building. All I'm asking you, offer me, you know, protection. If any one of you can go to 906 French Street, that's a very good example. It was under demolition. The building, I'm an engineer also. I'm a doctor and also an engineer. It was a challenge for me to pick up that building from under the ground and lift it up. Go look at it. It's like a brand new building. This is what I would like to do. I'd like to take this building and make it like a brand spanking new. 906 French Street, 3 houses, brand spanking new houses. And they were in the ground. It was a challenge for me as a civil engineer to see if I can raise it up intact. And I did. And go look at it. You know, demolition in this town here, this is unbelievable. I mean, I've lived in Texas and I've seen the body like this. They always look for means to help people rebuild, especially people who are poor. I have the means. I'm not a poor person, but I'm not looking out for those poor people who cannot afford it. You need to help them out rebuild instead of destroying their homes. You know, that's what I'm saying. You know.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
All right.
I've got a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
If we could have Mr. Landry go over the inspection report for each of the properties, maybe that'd be a good place to start.
Do we need to do a motion to close the public hearing if there's nobody else talking?
Well,
We open the motion and we need
We
to
open
close
the-
the
do we
motion.
start this, should we start this with a report from him?
Before we open the,
Yeah, in
Yeah,
the future,
with
let's do
each
the report
property.
first.
well, let's
Yeah.
close this out.
Okay,
So we'll close this and then we'll hear the report.
yeah, and I think if we,
I think it's right.
if we start with violations,
Mhm.
and
Look at
then
the
we
picture
talk
of the
about
violations first.
remedies and time maybe for each one and kind of put them all
Okay.
kind of in and out, you know, a little checklist like that.
That's fine.
Okay, thank
So
you.
at this time, to stay on task,
Yeah.
I would need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Guidry and Councilman Ledbetter. Thank you all very much. Now we'll follow our city attorney's advice and we'll hear a report from Jim.
All right, with the structure, the plumbing, the electrical, the maintenance, the blocking underneath needs to be checked, and the roof needs to be checked. The plumbing is busted underneath the trailer, the electrical's not hooked up anymore.
Can we ask questions?
All the
Yes,
win-
you always can ask
All the windows are
questions.
busted out,
Mhm.
the door's busted out.
Roof leaks.
That's it. Any questions?
Okay.
Questions?
Mr. Jimmy, on this particular property, how many times was there, I know this is complaint driven, so how many times was a letter sent to this particular constituent? And by the way, what is,
This is my demo file,
Mhm.
so. I don't
let's
have
start
any-
all the way back.
This started in 17.
2017,
Yeah, the first letter went out April of 17.
April 2017. Okay, next letter, sir.
I think it was this one. Yeah. The next letter was for this demolition.
Okay, And so, these are all sent by attorneys, correct?
No, well, we sent them.
Okay.
That's our department.
Okay, and these
So
letters
far.
were signed upon receipt?
Let me see, 17 was accepted,
Mm-hmm.
and the one I have came back unclaimed.
Unclaimed, okay. And so, and I have several, notes,
And I sent it regular mail and certified, they both came back unclaimed.
regular mail came back unclaimed, certified came back unclaimed. Okay, and I also have, a lot of complaints, that was called into me, that I called into City Hall, at least 10 times, for this particular property, and the complaint is, the people that live near this property, they're complaining that people are going inside this property, and there's alleged, illegal activity that's taking place in this property. The police is constantly called for this particular property. It is unsecured. All the windows are busted out of this particular property, and then the people that are allegedly staying in this property overnight, they're bothering the neighbors next door, calling the neighbors the next morning, wanting them to come see, and they're afraid. So that's what I have on record for me, as the council person for this district. I have some other questions for the constituent, but I'll just yield back at this time.
Any further discussion? Any further questions?
Jimmy,
Yes.
is where it's located, that's a separate lot?
I think so.
I mean,
I think it is.
that is a, not a mobile home lot, it's just a piece of property that mobile
Property
home's
with the
on.
mobile home
Yes.
on it.
And how many years, do you know, since they had electricity?
No, I don't know that.
Okay.
Wait, say that
But
again?
It's been
Mayor
quite a
Pro Tem?
while since.
I was just saying, how long since they had electricity at the house?
Oh, so
Probably 17, at least.
no utilities at all?
No, ma'am.
Yes,
I don't have a question, but let's just make a comment, please.
certainly. That's what we're here for.
I agree that we do have a job to protect with public safety, but it's not the city's responsibility to make sure that someone's house or belongings are maintained. It's plain and simple. I mean, we heard it from this gentleman. It's not the city's job to maintain people's properties, and the reason why these properties are being demoed or demolished, in other words, because of the way they're not meeting the standards. That's not our job to go and fix that. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. And it is our job to protect, but it's our
And
job
I
to
just-
protect the neighbors of these properties
Correct,
that are
correct.
influenced by this and affected
agree
by
with you
this every
100%.
day. Any further comment?
I just have one.
Yes, wait, he overrules. City attorney?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jimmy, can you tell us what makes the building unsafe? And what could be done, if anything, to make it safe?
All the windows are busted out, the doors busted out, the floors are starting to give. You can see there's a bunch of stuff on the floor, that's from the ceiling in the picture. At the door, the threshold is rotting out.
Okay.
So it would need extensive work.
But you know, roof, structure, maintenance, plumbing, electrical, can the thing be saved?
Anything can be saved.
Okay. So.
I mean, if you want to put the money into it. I mean, he could demolish the trailer and put another trailer on,
Okay.
you know? I mean, if we demolish it, he has 6 months to replace the trailer. But that's his option. I mean, if he wants to repair it versus put another trailer, it would take a lot of work.
And would boarding solve the problem?
Temporarily.
They're ripping the boards off.
I don't know how long the boards would stay on. If it's done properly, it would stay on for a while, but there's no guarantees.
Okay. I think it'd be appropriate when we go through these, if the owner's here, if we ask them what they intend to do with the property. what
Well, that's
repairs
why
they
they should
intend
be
to
here.
make?
Yeah.
Dr. Dale,
And I think we ought to limit this to what Dr. Dell
just on this side.
proposes to do to this property to make it safe, and how long he would take to do that.
What I'm saying, offer me protection, I promise you, we'll come back here and that mobile home, I'll make it to look like brand new. Even if it costs me more money than usual. Just offer me protection, let me board it first, then go in and like I said, go to 906 French, 3 houses, and look at the assessor's office, they have an old picture.
Please stay on this house.
Huh?
Please stay on this subject in this house.
I know what I'm saying, you know, just look as an example to what I did. You know,
I think that answers my question.
Okay. No?
Hey, Dr. Dale, what year is this trailer? Do you
I do
know?
not really know. I bought it for my lady. It was in perfect condition. But like he said, when the sheriff department was
Wait,
here,
okay, you think it's like a 1970, 60?
I do not know.
Looks like about that time frame for me.
I don't think so.
How much money do you think it would take to get it up to par?
See, sometimes,
Because you said perfect condition. Well, what you know, what kind of resources do you think it would take to get it to that type of condition?
for me, it doesn't take a whole lot. As I said, I'm an engineer,
Okay.
twice.
So not a whole lot. And what kind
No.
of time frame would you need?
I mean, give me a few months, you know. I would,
A few
but the
months,
question
so-
is, if I fix it, I'll go fix it there, they'll bust the windows again. So I'm already started twice. I renovated that place twice.
When you say renovated, what do you mean?
We went through the whole thing
And did what?
and did the kitchen, did the flooring, did all, everything, the bathroom, everything has been done twice. You know?
What years was that?
See, since Hurricane Rita, when New Orleans people came in, that's when hell broke loose. I had this place in,
But what year was the last time it was renovated, I believe?
I would say about maybe 7 years, 8 years. I gave up on it for now. I mean,
When's
I
the
don't know
last-
what to do.
When's the last time you had tenants in
A long time ago.
it? Like how long?
What I'm saying, I cannot have a tenant if that thing is
I
not
know,
renovated.
but we need to know for our records how long.
Maybe 10, 12 years, a long time.
So you renovated it 8 years ago, but you never got tenants
No,
after you
no,
renovated it?
no. Every time I do something, the bathroom is gone, the hot water here is gone, the cabinets are gone.
And you own the property that it's on?
Hmm?
You
Yeah,
own the property that
Yes.
it's on? And is that property only big enough for a trailer?
yes.
It's not big enough to put a house or anything like that on it?
I really don't want to go through all this
No, I'm
building
just-
a new
I'm
house,
just-
yeah.
No, I know, I'm just asking.
I
so
just
we
want
know.
you to give me a protection, let me fix that little mobile home. It means a lot to me. It's not the money part of it, it's the sentimental thing to me. I don't like destruction, I don't like demolition. I'm an engineer, I'm a constructionist. You know, I like to construct, not to demolish.
Okay. Do you have any other properties on the list here today?
Well, I think we have my old home, got burnt also,
So you have.
with my children
just two
in it.
Properties on the house?
I
on
think
the
so,
list today?
Reynolds, is it on the property?
133 Reynolds, but
Yeah.
it's owned by his daughter.
Okay,
It's really both of us, me and,
okay, well, I just, you know, have these questions and, I'm sure the next meeting, Ms. Guidry will make a recommendation. Thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion?
Motion to close? No, we closed it
No,
already.
we did that already.
So we're next item, huh?
Well, no, what's on the agenda is demolition of this property, so we
Y'all
making,
wanna
that
vote
notice
now?
has been given and we need to make
Need to
decisions or,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Put up
I
some
thought we
other-
were- I thought we weren't voting on next meeting.
No.
Doesn't say that on here.
These were put on the list
Hmm?
some time ago.
Yeah,
yes,
back in July.
these were put on the list in
No, that's
July.
not, I only have one.
And
so
this
I'm
list
not, you know,
was
Yeah.
and
generated,
mine's a shutting.
this list was generated from riding around town, We talked about it. We sent these pictures to all the council. We looked at the worst houses. No offense, but these are some of the worst buildings that have been sitting there the longest, that have been affecting those neighborhoods and affecting neighbors and sitting there. That is how we generated this list. And at the time, if you remember, we sold property, we put the money aside, and we said we were going to become aggressive about demos, about cleaning our town up. That's kind of what generated it, but, you know, where we are right now, we will need,
You want to do the motion?
we'll need a motion, we'll need some kind of action needs to be taken. What it is, that's as always up to, you know, the council.
May I understand this?
Yes,
is,
sir.
Sheriff's District.
Yes.
Dr. Adele mentioned boarding it up. And if we can let him board it up, I'm saying, because we have so many. And since he's here to defend his property, once again, he's here once again to defend his property. And he did come with some solution when he talked about boarding it up. I don't know if that would be appropriate. I got a lot of stuff going up on here about demolition of houses because I got a lot of them in my district. You know, I feel like if a person offers a solution, you know, then we ought to be able to adhere to their solution. If boarding it up is going to help the problem, but then again, I see us revisiting it again.
We're talking 10 years.
You know, I see us revisiting it again. You know, so what we do when we revisit it, you know, it's going to eventually be torn down. I understand. I mean, I'm a proponent of tearing down abandoned properties that have become a nuisance to the neighbors. I'm 100% pro get rid of blight, but I'm also pro builder. You know, I just feel like hanging on to a lot of junk becomes a problem. Hanging on to junk. But again, I feel like he offered a solution when and I'm listening to one thing, and I heard our attorney say board up too. If boarding up is an option.
My question is boarding up an option?
Yeah.
Not today.
And if boarding up is not an option, then I'm going to take back my remarks. But I heard Doc, I heard you ask if it was an option, and I heard Doc mention boarding up.
Yes, sir. That says it well.
I got a lot of questions. I'm gonna ask this. I know one of the problems we have in New Iberia is that people and it's not just Dr. Dale. That's why I don't want to just target Dr. Dale. There's a lot of people that got 20 and 15 and 30 homes just hanging around our community doing nothing. And I don't understand it. I own a home, a barber shop, I own a trailer. I'm ready to sell a trailer, do whatever. I ain't playing with all this renting and stuff because I see the plight. I see the plight of this stuff, and I don't see the benefit. You know, I took a class on flipping houses, you know, and a lot of the stuff we see, not even worth flipping. So what are we holding on to it for? And I'm saying we, everybody, Doc, you, us as a council, what are we holding on to it for? That's what I don't understand. I don't understand that. We're trying to make neighborhoods better. And those particular houses being in our neighborhoods for 10 and 15 years, they don't make our neighborhoods better. That's what I'm going to be honest and say, Doc. That don't make our neighborhood better. For me, I grew up in the hood around houses like that. Matter of fact, I grew up before the houses got like that. I was in the neighborhood when houses like that where I grew up at was a place to live. People kept them clean. People kept the yards clean. Nobody knew they was poor. That looked poor, Doc. If I was living next to that growing up, I would have felt poor. When I was growing up, I didn't feel poor because people took care of the little they had. So I don't think it's fair for a landlord or anybody to come in the community, have 50 blighted properties, and the neighbors who's trying to make do with what they have to live next to it for another 10, 5, 15, 20 years. That's my deal. So I'm right in the middle with you. I feel your pain, but at the same time, you got to feel my pain. I ain't worrying about them 7. I'm talking about me. I grew up in the neighborhood where people took care of their stuff. I took my grandfather's house, which was a crack house, looked worse than a house I've seen on this list, and I took it and I remodeled it. I made it into my home and my barber shop. And I'm very proud. I just got from putting some more money, but I put it all in one spot so that I can feel good about that. I'm not trying to buy everything in town so people can say I own 100 properties and all of them raggedy. That's not right. That's not fair to the city of New Iberia. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the city of New Iberia it not being fair to them. But growing up, I wouldn't want to grow up next to that. You know, I wouldn't have. And saying I own my little house, on my little trailer, and then I got to wait on the guy who bought it for whatever he bought it for, $1 million or $1. I got to wait on him to fix it so my property can look all right. It's discouraging to the community, Doc. That's what I'm hearing. You know, me and you talk, but I'm hearing that it's discouraging. It's not just you. It's a lot of them should be lined up. It's not just you. A lot of them should be lined up on that back road hearing this about all these properties that they're not doing nothing with. And we're talking about government helping them fix the houses. What about them giving them away to some homeless people and letting them fix them and say, look, I'm tired of this property. If you can fix it in 6 months, then guess what? You got a place to stay. I ain't hearing that solution. So it's a two-way street. Yeah, government has to help. Government has to lend a helping hand the best way we can with the monies we got. But then citizens and homeowners, I'm going to Neighbor Works America Thursday morning, Chicago, Illinois, to talk about blight property. And this is what we talk about. We call them absentee landlords. That's the technical legal word for them. And it don't have a name next to it. It don't have Mr. So-and-so, Mr. So, absentee landlord. Because you know why they call them that? Because they don't know who own them. Till they come to these things like this and they say, okay. We gotta come together, Doc. We can't save every property like this for next week, next meeting, next time. It's just not a good look for us. It don't show no solidarity in trying to clean our city up. You know, I can't go against what I believe in. So that's my spiel on not just that, but the 25, 30, 40, 50 other houses in our community. So I can't say because Doc's here, I'm going to go, oh man, Doc's here. I'm not. Doc, that's one of them houses that been causing us some problems. That's all it is. And I commend you for coming share with us, you know, your vision for your house. But I just ask, how long do we have to wait as a council? And how long do our community have to wait as a community to say, okay, now I can start picking up, now I can start cleaning up, because this guy who owns this house here, he finally doing something. That's when we have to take ownership and say, help is coming. I mean, we ought to help for the citizens. And that's where I'm at with it. That's all I have, man.
Thank you. All right. Jeff.
If I could suggest a process to kind of move this along.
We have 14 to do.
For this and the other 13. If we could maybe for each one start with identifying who the owners are and then indicating whether or not they got notice by mail or by appointment of attorney or whatever. And then maybe you could show us the picture and show us and tell us what's on the inspection report about the specific things that need to be remedied. And then maybe we could talk about, first, does the landowner have a proposal to make to us that would address these issues? And if so, how much time would it take and are they willing to commit to it? That'd be the first option, is to let people fix their own stuff. The second option would be, could the city board the property? Because that's one of our choices. Could the city board the property and make it safe, and is that practical? And if it's in bad condition and the landowner has no proposal and we can't make it better by boarding it up, then I think we're left with demolition. But if we started with that process, that's what we've done in the past, proposal from the landowner, I need so many days to do 1, 2, 3, I'll get a building permit, so on and so forth. If we can't do that, can we board it and avoid the cost of demolition? And if the last resort is where we are, then it's demolition. Maybe if we could think about them that way.
Everybody's got some comments.
Yeah, you threw me off.
I'm thrown off too, this whole process. Yes, she first.
Yes, ma'am.
These particular properties have been on the list for demolition. We identified these properties for demolition. There's also a boarding list. So these particular properties were deemed not able to be boarded. They have the boarding list and they have the demolition list. So I don't think we need to talk about boarding it up. We talking about demolishing these, yes or no?
Well, even in a demolition
It was
process,
published
we could,
officially as well on March the 8th.
in a demolition process, I mean, the demolition process and the boarding process are the same thing. It's just, you take one turn at the end for one and one turn for the other. I'm just thinking, if we're gonna make a decision to demolish, we ought to do it because it's the last resort, because it's necessary. And it's necessary if we don't get anything from the landlord, the landowner, that's gonna solve the problem, and if we can't solve it by cheaper means like boarding. And if we check off those two and we say, well, that doesn't work and that doesn't work, we got no choice but to knock it down.
Yeah.
Okay. This is just my thoughts, and I could be way off, but I think everybody looks like kind of like something's off. But it was my understanding that we have been working on this list, and one of the main points of this list was to get everything as concurrently ran as possible, so where when it was time to demo, we could demo the same. You know, we got the whole block of houses we need, and we demo a group at a time because it's cheaper that way. It's cheaper to bid it out. It's cheaper to get the labor done. That's what we had talked about in the past. Now, I'm fine, and y'all know I will respect what any council member wants to do about any house in their district. But I feel like tonight is a night to be strict because it's a list that has been worked on. I feel like if we start too much back and forth, that's a problem. I feel like if there's a house on the list tonight for your district and you haven't heard from that person before tonight, that's a problem. That's a problem. Now, if we just hearing from you tonight because you live in Georgia and, you know, there's all these complications, you know, that's the one thing. But, I mean, we've got to...
Jimmy and everybody else. That's right.
I feel like we worked really hard over the past 3 years in this term to make a reputation about this. That is something that we take serious. And I just, you know, as a council member, you should know what's yours on this list. You should know if you've talked to these people or not. And it's all about putting this thing in drive for me. I mean, and look, I don't care. We can stay here till 10 o'clock if y'all want to do 20 minutes on each house. It doesn't matter to me that way either. But it doesn't. But what I'm saying is, you know, we had a plan for this, and I think we're about to derail real quick if we don't all get on the same page. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, yeah, I think, you know, this is not the first time we hear about any of these houses, not just this one. I'm talking about the whole list. And why does it take to get to this point, to get to this discussion?
Right. I know where I'm at my house.
I just believe we've been here before, and I'm a respected council person because I don't live there. I don't get the complaints there. And this whole council does that, is respect the council person that represents those areas. So it's really up to that person. I'm on board whatever they want to do, but it just seemed like it took us a long time to get to this.
Yeah.
And that I remember and seen these addresses before, but I don't think, and we got a bunch, and we had plenty of time, but I don't think we have to go through the same procedure on each one as we did in the past. And it's not like we got these addresses tonight. Right. I just don't understand why we are discussing it a different way than we did where we thought where we were going. You know, but so, Ms. Sherry, I'm here for anybody that want to do what they want in their district. And if you want to give someone time, great. If you don't, that's great too. But I think one thing we have to think about, at least the person that owns the property is here.
Yep.
Well, if they don't come here, I'm going to tell you, we shouldn't even talk about it. But that's up to the council to decide on what direction they want to go in.
Thank you. Jeff, again.
I'm sorry. I never talk this much, but I mean, this is the day in court for the landowner. So up to now, we've talked about them, we've inspected them, we've given them notice, But this is the day in court for the landowner. So this is the opportunity where we say, we think it's dangerous and we think it needs to come down. Change our minds or give us an alternative. And if you don't, then we move forward. So I think that's the process, and I think that's what we've done in the past. We've said, this is the problem. We think the solution is demolition. If you have another solution, come up with one. If you don't, then we'll move forward. And if additional time helps, if promises of repairs help, I'm not hearing that in this case. But I'm just saying we go through the steps. This is the problem. We think it needs to be demolished. Do you have an alternative? Do we have an alternative? If not, demolish it.
Well, I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I didn't even get to talk to Mr. Adele. Second of all, I didn't even get to speak on my own district. So
we're not finished yet.
yeah, because I didn't even do what I do best. So you know.
Okay, well, you
Okay.
want to do what you do best?
Whenever y'all finish, you know. But I want to make sure Mr. Jeff give us a process so we could actually follow that. You know, because I want to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Okay, well, I think he's lined out a process.
Okay.
And so, Councilwoman Guidry, I'm going to call on you.
Okay, Mr. Adele. Can you please step forward, sir?
I am Dr. Adele.
Okay.
I'm raised in college. I deserve to be called doctor.
Dr. Adele, I'm Councilwoman Sherry Guidry. I'm your councilwoman for District 5. How you doing tonight, sir?
Fine. I'm not doing well because y'all talked about everything except one thing. Protection.
Okay.
Protection of the citizens, protection of the buildings. Every time I do something, what's the use if I go renovate it? It's gonna be destroyed again. And I'm not talking about this building. I'm talking about a bunch of buildings in that neighborhood.
Dr. Adele, I did hear your speech on tonight. I heard every word of it. As a matter of fact, I made some notes on tonight. I want to thank you for appearing before us on tonight. It's very important that citizens appear. It shows that they are concerned about their property. So at this time, I'm going to ask you some questions. I did hear on what you had to say. I took everything that you had to say in consideration. You said that your property is sentimental value to you, correct?
I don't like destruction.
Okay.
I like to bring this to.
I'm gonna need a yes or a no answer so we
Yes.
can move forward. We have a few more properties we want to get to. You said that your property is sentimental value to you. This particular property, we're talking about 806 Buckeye Street, correct,
Yes.
sir?
Mhm.
Okay. With that being said, do you have a plan going forward, sir, with this particular property? Because we're talking about structural damage. What about the electricity? You plan on restoring electricity back to this property?
Yes.
Because as far as we know, since 2017 or greater or far back, there's been no electricity, being that it's sentimental value to you. And also to no maintenance, the maintenance of the plumbing. When do you plan on restoring plumbing back as well?
Ma'am, what I'm trying to tell you, if I go there and put the electricity on, that box will be stolen that night.
Okay. With that being said, sir, being that 10 to 12 years that no one has lived there, regardless if someone go and steal it tomorrow, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that we want to make sure that either someone lives there, we want to do we want someone to actually, we want this property to flourish. Okay, we don't want just an empty, busted up trailer with no windows, no doors, rats, possums, and everything coming out of it, or crackheads, bothering the neighbors or all that. I understand that there's a problem there, but I also want to make a statement about our NIPD. I'm very proud of them.
Oh yes, I am
Okay,
proud of them
but at
too.
this time, I'm speaking, sir, and I just need you to listen. They're constantly being called to this residence. The neighbors that lives next door and all down that street, they're constantly calling for this particular property because we have illegal activity in this property. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so as a landlord or the owner of this property, do you plan on putting somebody there? That was a good question that was posed to you. We have to have a vision going forward for not only this property, but for this neighborhood. Because the people that's living on this street, they're sick and tired of all of this. So between you and me and everyone in this room, what's your vision going forward for the neighbors that's living on this street? Because if I lived on this street, I would have a problem with that. You understand? So what's the vision that you want to share with the council and with your councilwoman and with everyone present? What can we do about this? What would you like to go forward besides going backwards? How can we go forward? What's the vision, sir?
Offer me protection, and I will go forward.
This is not a give or take situation. I just want to know what's your vision, not this a cause and effect. What's the vision going forward for this property and the dwelling, the structure that's on it?
Okay.
What's your vision?
I would like to fix it.
Besides just fixing it, what
Fix it
else
and
you want to
find
do with
somebody
it?
to buy it or lease it. I have 2 houses on Hopkins. I could not rent them for $100.
Okay, speaking of your other home, sir, and I'm just gonna hit it and quit it. I've walked Mullane, Lafayette Street, East Persian Street by foot. That little girl you see sitting right over there, well, she's not little, she's 18 years old with the pink headband, with a clipboard. Some of your houses also in my district. Some of them are burnt, no windows, no doors. I have them all written down. We have multiple complaints, multiple things. So I understand that a lot of them are sentimental, but you gotta understand the neighbors that's living on these streets.
Can you tell me why they're burnt? Why they're burning my houses?
Sir, I'm not a police officer, so we're not gonna get into it. I just wanna tell you that these people that I represent, you, and I represent them as well. We gotta do something about all these messed up houses that you own. So with that being said, what would you like for me to do as your councilwoman? How can I represent you better by going forward? What would you like to do with this property? Because you see, whatever you tell me today, this is gonna be your word. Okay, I'm gonna go by your word. If you don't stand with your word, then after that, I'm gonna just say demolish it next time I see you. Okay, and then after that,
you know.
we're not gonna talk about a sentimental value. Okay, I don't even wanna hear that. Okay, so what would you like to do going forward?
You know what?
But this property.
I'm gonna demolish this property.
You wanna
So I don't
demolish it?
have to deal with all this.
What do you wanna
I'm
do?
gonna demolish it myself.
Okay, and so when
So
do you
that
plan
will
on doing
make you
that,
happy.
sir?
Huh?
When do you plan on doing that?
I'll do my best.
No,
But the
sir.
question is, there are gonna be so many of them on Ann Street, Carroll Street, Buckeye. I got so many of them that they're gonna have also their turn to be demolished.
Okay, so
You're gonna bring him in.
Okay, so you wanna demolish it, and so what's the timeline you're talking about demolishing this property, sir?
I need some time. I need some time.
How much time, sir?
I don't
30
know.
days?
Huh?
I'm gonna need a timeline.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna need a timeline on for our records on when.
I need a year.
Oh, no, sir, that's gonna be too long,
Okay.
sir. I'm sorry. I can't give you a year.
What I'm really not talking just about this year. I'm talking about the rest of my houses around it.
Oh, you talking about all your houses you own?
Yeah, all these houses around it too.
We talking about this house, just this.
I know, this house is gonna be an example for the rest of them. I'm gonna be coming back here for some more houses.
Mr.
That y'all
Adele,
gonna be.
Mr. Adele,
Ma'am, call me
let's talk
Dr.
about.
Adele, please.
I'm sorry,
You know,
sorry,
yeah.
Dr. Adele. 806 Buckeye. When do you plan on demolishing that particular property, sir?
I'll do how much time you wanna give me?
Mr. Jimmy, what is the process on that? Can you help me out, sir?
Oh, he can do it anytime.
Okay, but
I'd
we.
say 30 days.
30 days.
Hmm.
Okay, so when he comes in to apply for a permit, how long is that gonna take him?
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
to get
Okay,
the permit.
to get a permit.
It's a $35 fee.
$35 fee. So, Mr. Adele, can you afford $35?
Not really. Can't afford no 35.
You can't afford 30.
No.
So, Dr.
Maybe you
Adele,
can
I'm
lower it
sorry,
to me.
Dr. Adele, can you afford $35?
Not really. Maybe you humiliate me when you ask me that. Can you afford? I'm a doctor. Can you afford $35? I can afford $35.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
give it to him.
I'm just addressing you properly, sir.
I mean, you're humiliating me.
No, I'm
And you
just
know how
asking
to
questions.
speak.
I'm asking questions. So you said you're gonna demolish it, I just need a timeline file record, sir.
Okay, I need 3 months at least,
3 months?
because I have other stuff to protect. You know,
I'm gonna yield back at this time. Maybe Mayor, you can weigh in on it. It's 3 months. I don't know if that's acceptable at this time. So this is kind of new to me at this with the trailer for 3
In our
months.
3 years, we have given people time.
Okay.
We normally give them 30 days,
Mhm.
and then they come back and we monitor their progress.
Mhm.
If they have not kept their word in 30 days,
Mhm.
we have torn them down, which is totally within our right to do that.
Mhm.
If they have made progress and we felt there was enough progress, there were times we gave them 30 more days. But I think that we, as a council, and you, as the council person, can set that timeline.
Okay.
We can get input. I understand that Jeff is making sure we're following a process.
Correct.
And I understand that we all have to look at the legality of the situation and we have to protect the city.
Yes,
I
sir.
realize that.
Yes,
I
sir.
also realize, as I said in the very beginning, we got to protect that neighborhood and the people that live there. We have a responsibility.
sir.
So if you feel 30 days is fine, then you say 30 days, he comes back and he reports back to us.
Okay.
This is a drastic action, the most drastic action we can take. I understand that. Does that mean I don't want to take it? No. I'm going to do, we as a council and as an administration are going to do what we have to do to start cleaning this town up.
Yes.
So you get to make the recommendation. You've got some input. If you think 30 days is enough time, he'll come back in 30 days. If he doesn't come back in 30 days or he makes no progress, then this council will take the action that it deems necessary.
can I ask you a question, please?
Yes, sir.
This house is used by drug dealers. The drug dealer is telling you, here I am, I'm coming with my drugs, and I'm doing drugs right there. Why can't you send somebody get him? Catch him. That's how you clean the town. He's telling you, I'm coming to you. Put some cameras, put some police officers undercover, sit there and wait for them.
Mr. Adele, I got a question.
And you don't
Dr.
think-
Adele, I got a question
Go
for
ahead.
you. Have you ever made a police report on this particular
I was wondering that.
property at 806 Buckeye Street, sir? Have you ever made a police report?
Ma'am, look, go to the police department and ask him for how many times I complain about drug dealers going in.
I mean an official police report, sir, with the NIPD.
I did not do that.
Okay.
But
So at this time, I'm going to make a recommendation for a demolition, self-demolition that he's going to apply. We're going to revisit it in 30 days for self-demolition.
Making a motion.
So that's a motion?
That is a motion. Thank you, Dr. Adele.
Thank you for that motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second. Thank you. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any other further?
Just for the record,
Wait.
30 days is November the 14th,
Okay.
so that would be the November 19th meeting.
Great. And I see Councilwoman Lopez has her hand up.
Dr. Adele, while you're here, I just think it would be convenient for you. Our assistant chief is 2 people down from you, Mr. Brandon. I think it would benefit you to talk to him because if you do actually have drug dealers inside of your building, we could kind of be a little proactive and you can give him permission for them to enter into your building should they find someone. Thank you.
ma'am, I'm really proud of this police department. I am proud of them, what they're doing. They're doing all.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying I would
Okay.
take advantage of that because they need permission to go into your property if you do have drug dealers on the
We
perimeter.
gotta vote.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any further discussion?
Okay, so November the 14th actually is the 30
30
days.
days.
And it's going to be a self-demolition so that he has 30 days to apply for the actual for the
Well, it's
demolition.
30 days to take action, to demo.
To take
To
it
demo.
down. To take it down.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything further? Well, please vote your machines. Thank you. Okay, now we move on to 5B.
Demolition of property located at 807 Bush Alley, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 2.
I need a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Councilman Lewis and Councilwoman Lopez. Is there anyone here to represent this property? 807 Bush Alley. Anyone here?
In fact, I was requested by this council to give notice to absentee members, and I would like to provide a quick report indicating that in fact I have done what the council asked me to do.
Thank you.
I provided documentation of the notice that I was given and to whom I gave it to, and the methods that I used to give that notice. I in fact was asked to give notice to absentee owners for 6 of the properties on this list. For expedience's sake, I would ask the council members to give me the opportunity to give a brief report on that now, because I won't really have anything to offer in terms of public comment from this point forward.
Yes.
I might be able to save some time. If I have his reports, Mr. Burke has written a letter for each one of these properties indicating what he did. And I can, when the item comes up, if he needs to leave or whatever, I can go over and report on what he's got here. Or he can do that now, whatever the council wants to do.
Okay, well, he's here. Let him do it now.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
No problem. I was asked to serve as a curator to give notice to absentee owners for properties B, 807 Bush Alley, properties D, 625 Emory Lewis Avenue, 625 and 625 and 1/2, property E, 1405 Iberia Street, property F, 221 Johnson Alley, property G, 543 Lafayette Street, and finally property H, 720 St. Mary Street. Following that order, for 807 Bush Alley, I sent a certified letter to Miss Beatrice Davis. That letter was sent on September 13th. I also placed a legal notice advertisement in the Daily Iberian dated September 18th and September 25th. I received no response to either of those attempts to notify that absentee owner. For property 625 and 625 and 1/2 Emory Lewis, I sent a certified letter to Miss Constantina Broussard dated September 13th. I also sent a certified letter to Heartland Investors Bank dated September 13th. And I also placed legal notice ads in the Daily Iberian dated September 18th and 25th. No response was received to either of those attempts to contact the absentee owners. Property 1405, and this will start to sound repetitive, but I'll work through them. I sent a certified letter to Mr. Christopher Smith. That letter was dated September 13th. I also placed a legal notice advertisement in the Daily Iberian on September 18th and September 25th. No response was received. For property number 221 Johnson Alley, I sent a certified letter to Miss Mary Conway dated September 13th. I also placed a legal notice ad in the Daily Iberian on September 18th and 25th. No response was received from that absentee owner. For the property at 543 Lafayette Street, I sent 2 certified letters. The first to the estate of Kadash Daniel Gaines. That letter again was dated September 13th. And I also sent a certified letter to Miss Virginia Lee Noah. That letter again was dated September 13th. I placed a legal notice advertisement in the Daily Iberian dated September 18th and 25th. No response was received to those attempts to provide notice. Finally, 720 Mary Street. I sent a certified letter to the estate of George Chevalier, again dated September 13th, and legal notice ads on September 18th and 25th. No response was received to those. That provides a complete summary of the work that I did at the behest of the council, following your request that I act as curator to notify absentee defendants. Okay. That's all I've got.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a nice evening and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that.
You want to let Jimmy show
Yes.
what it explains?
Now we're gonna let Jimmy. We'll just close the public hearing at the end, 'cause we didn't close it yet. Now, Jimmy, you go ahead and report on property.
On this one, it's the structure and maintenance. This house is just falling apart, slowly but surely. That's the next one. Now, nobody's cut, the trees are growing up through the front porch. It's just horrible.
Okay. Do we have any questions of Jimmy? Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I know the house.
Okay,
I
yeah.
already know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, that's great. I just gotta we gotta do due process. Any questions on this property?
Let's do a close the public
Okay, so now I'll close the public hearing, and then we'll do what we have to do. So, motion to close the public hearing, please?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Lewis and second by Councilwoman Lopez. Public hearing is now closed, and now we have discussion by the council. Whose district is this?
District 2.
That's what I thought. Would you like to lead us off?
Oh, I'm gonna make a motion to demolish it. We don't have nothing to discuss. I saw the house 100 times. Been there,
Okay.
walked, looked around it, inside, outside, under it. I'm gonna make a motion to demolish.
Okay, we have a
Second.
motion on the floor and a second by the Mayor Pro Tem to demolish this property. Is there any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. Madam Clerk, 5C.
Demolition of property located at 505 Dore Alley, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 2.
I need a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Broussard, Councilman Broussard, and a second by Councilman Lewis. Is there anyone here to represent this property? Any public comment? Okay, Jimmy, I'll turn it over to you.
You can see the house was burnt. The roof is damaged. The structure, there's issues on the inside. Maintenance, electrical is disconnected, and the wiring needs to be redone. Electrical wiring. The plumb is probably melted on the inside.
All right.
So all that would need to be repaired. I had received calls from neighbors that were really concerned about it. And we sent the letter, and it was returned. The letter was accepted, so I don't know why nobody's here. I
Okay,
never got a call on this one.
understand. Any questions on this property for Jimmy? No questions? Then I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion to close the public hearing, Councilman Lewis, and second, Councilman Broussard. Now, whose property is this? District 2?
District 2.
I'll call on you.
I'm gonna make a motion to demolish it.
Okay?
I mean, just from what I see and delivered, I know about construction, probably be $25,000-$30,000 just to get it back up and running. So whoever it is, I'm gonna save them some money. And we're gonna demolish it, and then maybe we can put something new there.
All right, well,
That's my motion.
thank you. We have a motion to demolish. Do I have a second? Councilwoman Ledbetter. Do we have any discussion on this motion? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. Madam Clerk, 5D.
Demolition of property located at 625 Emery Lewis Avenue, 625 and 625 and a half, New Iberia, District 5.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Lewis, and I need a second.
Second.
Councilwoman Guidry. Is there any discussion? Well, first I gotta hear from Jimmy. Sorry. Is anybody here for this property? Anybody here?
No.
Great, well now we'll hear from Jimmy.
All right. There's structural problems. The columns are falling out in the front. The roof has got issues with it. The structure has structural issues. Maintenance, the plumbing, the electrical service, the wiring, the whole 9 yards.
All right?
There's a lot of rotten wood on it. You can see the windows are starting to give. That left side of the house is falling. The stairs in the back have fallen off. That's all rotten wood.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Any questions for Jimmy?
Just a comment, it's actually in District 2, they got District 5.
I knew we had one that was wrong, and I didn't know which one it was. Sorry.
Oh, this is in District 2?
Yeah. So we have no questions or comments for Jimmy. Then I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Lewis and Councilwoman Guidry. Do we have, I'll call on you again, Councilman Lewis.
Well, I'm gonna save some people some more money. That one right there, I looked at it up and down, been all around it, all my whole block. That's on my block right there. My whole block from Lombard to Toriak to Emery Lewis to Frenzel. It's been a nuisance for my whole block. We're gonna save that family or those investors. I heard some investors had it, Harvest Land. We're gonna save them about $130,000 to remodel that, and we're gonna make a motion to demolish it as well.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to demolish. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Guidry. Is there any discussion on this motion that's on the floor? None? Please vote your machines. Thank y'all. Madam Clerk, 5E.
Demolition of property located at 1405 Iberia Street, New Iberia, Louisiana. And I believe this one is Mr. Broussard's district.
Great. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman
Second.
Broussard and a second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. Is there anyone here representing this property? Hearing and seeing no one, I'll call on Jimmy. Give us a report.
All right, I did hear back from one of the landowners, Monique Dale, and she told me tear it down. The doors are open, the electrical shot, there's trash all over. The wiring is bad. We were called out maybe 4 or 5 months ago for the gas meter, so the plumbing is in bad shape. I had met one of the owners out there. They wanted to redo it, but when they figured out what the costs were, they changed their mind. So, the electrical all needs to be redone. The roof is starting to leak. There's some structural issues and the maintenance.
Okay. Is there any
Cracks
questions?
There's cracks in the blocks. There's a storage shed that has electrical wire running exposed to the storage shed. All that needs to come up. And there's a makeshift cabin in the back that the homeless will live in.
Okay.
All that's gonna come up.
All right. Any questions for Jimmy? No questions? Then I'll need a motion to close our public hearing. Motion by Councilman Broussard, a second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. And now I'll call on you, Mr. Broussard, at your district.
Oh, the neighbors want to throw a big party as soon as that thing is down. And maybe the house next to it too. But the front door's open, it's wide open, it's very, very, we got to worry about the neighbors. All these houses we talking about, neighbors, blocks. I don't want to live by that thing. I don't know how the neighbors want to live by that thing. So we have to respect the neighbors, and it got to come down.
So is that a motion?
So we have a
Motion to
on
take
the
it down.
floor To demolish. Do we have a second? Second. Second by the Mayor Pro Tem. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing, hearing none, please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. Madam Clerk?
Demolition of property located at 221 Johnson Allen, New Iberia, Louisiana. Is that District 6? Dustin, is that yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good. I need a motion to open our public hearing. Motion by Councilwoman Swear. I need a second.
Second.
Councilwoman Guidry. Is there anyone here to represent this property? Hearing and seeing no one, I'll call on Jim and give us a report.
Okay. The roof is leaking, the structure, the maintenance, the plumbing, the electrical is all bad. The trailer's been gutted. You can see the structural damage.
Is that 200 blocks spray painted on it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there any questions for Jimmy? No questions for Jimmy? I'll need a motion to close our public hearing. Motion by Councilman Swear. Need a second.
Second.
Councilwoman Guidry. Now that that's closed, Dustin, I'll call on you.
I just think we're on a roll right now. We need to keep it going. I mean, that one's been needing to come down, so I mean, it's obvious. There shouldn't be any discussion on it. We just need to tear it down.
So that's a motion to tear down.
Motion to tear down. I know the neighbors will be very happy.
Yeah, I'll second it.
I do too.
I'm
Second
Yeah.
by our Mayor Pro Tem.
He was there when I was a councilman. Years ago.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank y'all. Madam Clerk? G.
Demolition of property located at 543 Lafayette Street, New Iberia, Louisiana.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Motion by Councilwoman Guidry. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Swear. Is there anyone here to represent this property? Yes, ma'am.
You with a second?
You can step up, please.
Mr. Jimmy, can you put that on the
Yes.
screen for us, please? Yeah, I remember that. The
Yes,
front.
ma'am. Please state your name again and give us your intentions on this property. What is your
My
plan?
name is Della Noah. I have intentions to, well, I had intentions to continue improving the property. But since I'm not working any longer, I can't do it by myself. So I'm trying to get the other owners involved in it to either tell me what they want to do, and I'll do it. But in the meantime, I figure I could try to get some boarding up. And I would make a decision after that when I hear from the other participants in the property.
Mr. Jimmy, can we see some more pictures of this house, please?
The doors are open, the windows are busted. That's the back of the house.
You see the
That's
front?
the next one.
Is there a
Did you
building
take
on the,
pictures
is
when
there,
the
is
fire
there, is
fixed
there a
it
building
before?
on the
No,
property?
I don't have the before, when you had started. I don't
Yeah.
have those, no. These were taken last week, October the 3rd.
Okay, now I see. There was a building on the property?
Huh?
A building on the
No.
property?
No, that's all the house.
Sure, it's your district?
Yes.
This one is just mostly maintenance.
Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Miss Noah,
Yes,
thank you for coming tonight.
thank you.
I appreciate you being here tonight.
I would have come before, but I was never notified about the meetings. And I had been working on the property, and I got my permit and everything to get the work done properly. But like I said, I can't do it now all alone anymore,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
but I intend to.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Jimmy, she has a permit on file, for
Yeah,
this,
she
for,
did have a
for
permit,
543 Lafayette Street. When was that permit applied for?
I want to say it was at least a year ago.
1 year ago?
Yeah.
In 2018?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, somebody did call me 2 or 3 weeks ago, wanted to buy the house, so I don't know whatever happened with that. If they ever.
I haven't heard
You haven't?
from anybody.
Okay. All right.
Okay, all right. So, Miss Noah, basically what you're suggesting tonight, what you're proposing is that you need at least maybe about 30 days
At least to get it boarded.
to get it, not just to get it boarded, but also to get with the other family members
Yes.
that's on the title to
Yes.
find out what their intentions are. So, at least in about 30 days is what you're saying. You have contact.
Hopefully.
You have contact with all the family members that's on the title?
I'm working on that now.
Okay, so do you actually have their phone numbers?
I have 2 or 4.
You have 2 of them?
Mhm.
Okay, and so how many people on the title?
See, it was 3.
It was 3.
Now there's only me left, but one of them had kids. So
Yes, ma'am.
they have, it's their children, the children that I have to deal with.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, all right. So about 30 days you think will be enough to find out what their intentions are about
I
this
should have
property?
some sort of answer.
Okay, all right. So you think you'd be able to get someone to board this house up and make it safe for this neighborhood? 'Cause
Within the next few days.
Okay, and I just want to let you know, Miss Noah, I've walked this street on Lafayette, 543 Lafayette Street. I walked in front of it. I did see someone in your home. There was a sofa inside the home, and there's no front door on there.
They took it down.
Yeah, so they was actually laying on the sofa in the front room with no front door. And then when they saw us, they ran out the back door, which has no back door either. And so the next day, or another day when I passed, they had somebody else in there too, do illegal activity, I guess, allegedly. So it's important that we board up, your home.
I had boarded up
Mhm.
the place before,
Mhm.
and I've been keeping up the lawn,
Mhm.
and I do what I can.
Yes, ma'am. Is
And when I call the
Is
police-
that your son right there?
Yes.
How you doing,
well
sir?
known.
She made me aware of this. My name's Ivan McIntyre.
Yes, sir.
I was formerly a resident over here. I also worked for the police department.
Okay.
Assistant Chief and I know each other quite well.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to assist her in getting this done.
Uh-huh.
Her biggest problem has been, of course, contacting my cousins.
Okay.
All of the elders in our family have passed away.
Okay.
My mother is the eldest of our family that's still surviving.
Yes, sir.
So she does need help getting them to at least contribute their share. But she has made a commitment to restoring the home. She's done it twice.
Mm-hmm.
They've ripped the boards down, taken everything out of the house
I
previously.
seen that.
All we need is a time to get it boarded,
Mm-hmm.
give her an opportunity to converse with them, and if nothing else, she does want to restore the home.
Okay. So you're gonna help her out with the boarding, sir?
Yes. I'll
Okay.
get the boarding done.
And would you stay until at least the meeting is over? We're almost I want to say almost done, so I can get your contact information, so that way I can check back and forth with you on the boarding, and see how that's going. Because I really want to at least get it boarded up to make it safe, for not only for your property, but also the neighbors. Because when I passed, I actually had to kind of get back in my car because I was afraid as well. I wanted to kind of get back to my Glock 9 in my car because I kind of saw somebody, in that house. And I just kind of knew, common sense, that they wasn't supposed to be in there. So we want to make it safe, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
No problem.
before we leave the chambers, we want to make sure that I get your number as well. Okay, so about 30 days, Miss Noah,
You have my number?
and I would like yours as well.
I put it on the card.
Okay, and I'm gonna give you mine as well.
I would appreciate that.
And again, I'm Councilwoman Guidry, and I just want to make sure that we stay in contact and get that boarded
You
up.
will.
Okay, and how many windows? We have a lot of windows on that home, correct?
2, 3, one of them's boarded already. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's see the sides, Mr. Jimmy. Because I know all the windows is busted on the side.
And then the back door.
And what about the back door, y'all?
I had boarded that door, but, the front door and the back door
Is all
were
busted.
boarded, but they took them down.
Okay, so we can get the front and the back door boarded properly as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank y'all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, wait, we have a question.
They have a question for you all?
No.
Hi, Ms. Noah. You said you had inherited this property?
Yes.
About what time period was that?
This goes back,
967 7034.
Okay. That way if y'all want
So you inherited this property in the
y'all can
seventies?
go out and make sure she gets it.
Okay,
I need all the numbers.
I got it. I got it.
okay. Alright, so you've been an owner of it since the seventies? Okay, and, Mr. Jimmy, how long has this property been on the list?
this is the first.
This is the first time notice, the first notice
Okay,
for this demolition.
That's what I thought.
okay.
Yeah.
Just double checking. Thank you.
Okay, to stay on task, I would need, wait, do we have any more questions of Jimmy or anybody? Okay, well, now I need a motion to close the public hearing. We got a little ahead of ourselves, so I need a motion to close.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Thank you. Councilman Guidry, need a second? Second. Councilman Swift. Now we can move on to,
So I need to make a motion, sir?
yes.
Okay, so I make a motion to revisit this property in 30 days for boarding. Self-boarding by the property owner, Miss Della Noah. Does that make sense?
Yes, I would probably do boarding and a plan, by that time she'll also be able to give us a plan of
A
action.
plan of action
She'll start
concerning his
talking about
property.
her family,
Yes, yes.
We have a
Okay.
motion and a second by Councilwoman Ledbetter.
Okay, so,
Any discussion on this?
For the record, that will be the November 19th meeting.
okay, so November 19th and self-boarding and plan of action.
Yes, ma'am. Any discussion on this? Seeing, hearing none, please vote your machines. Thank y'all. Heading H.
Demolition of property located at 720 Mary Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 5.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Councilwoman Guidry, I need a second. Councilman Broussard. Is there anyone here to represent this property? Hearing and seeing no one, call on Jimmy. Give us a report.
All right, this is another burnt house.
Now, where is Mary Street? I still couldn't figure that one out.
Okay, you know where Rex Millen
Oh,
is?
off of Lee.
Off of
Okay,
Lee,
yeah, yeah.
behind Rex Millen,
Gotcha.
Conrico.
Yes,
Not Rex.
gotcha. I know exactly where you're at.
All right.
I think that picture says it all.
It says it all.
Okay. So, anyone have any questions of Jimmy? I don't see there's any questions. I would need a motion to close our public hearing.
Motion to close the public.
Councilwoman
hearing.
Guidry, and I need a second.
Here, this is for the property, right?
No, I had asked.
Okay.
Second.
Councilman Broussard. Great. So now I'll call on Councilwoman Guidry.
Motion to demolish.
Okay, we have a motion to demolish on the floor. Do I have a second? Second. Councilman Lewis. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing, seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Demolition of property located at 107 Monterey Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 1.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Second.
Councilman Lopez and Councilman Broussard. Is there anyone here to represent this property, 107 Monterey?
I told him to attend the meeting.
Okay.
107 Monterey.
Yes, sir.
He's interested in buying.
I'm here for Fred Alexander. He was working with Maxine.
Okay.
Okay, you talked to Fred
Okay,
today,
come
and he's
on,
with his
what's-
grand.
What's your name? Sorry.
Randy. I'm sorry, I'm Randy Lewis.
Randy Lewis.
Right.
And you're
So-
on behalf of who?
Fred Alexander.
And he is the,
Well, he's dealing with this property. He was
is he the owner?
No,
No, he's interested in buying the property, and we fixing it
and
up.
fixing it up. It's, and he's waiting on, well, he talked to you, so whatever.
And you are,
I'm simply representing him, but so that so the thing doesn't go to demolition before he gets the information that he's waiting on. The only reason he hadn't have a better case for tonight is because finding it very hard to
has
deal with.
he, okay, sorry, but,
Right.
okay, I'm Natalie. I'm
How you
the
doing?
representative for this district. Has he spoken with, you say he's interested in buying this property.
Fixing it up.
When did this interest start?
But
At the end of last week.
like
The end of
Thursday or
last week.
Friday.
Now, you're Randall Lewis? You're the owner? You own this property?
Right.
Okay,
Oh.
well, hello.
No, no, no. I got the ownership names right here, and oh, wait a minute, hold on.
Okay, I'm like your proxy for a potential buyer.
He was undercover.
I've only had to
Y'all got the
promote
players.
one house in 7 years, and of course I'm gonna get some
And it's gonna be
chaotic
complicated.
stuff.
Well,
Okay,
let's
all
move
right.
through it.
Well, hello, I am Natalie,
Hey, Johnny.
and you are the owner of this house.
Right.
And it burned a while back,
Wait, I'll give you the date.
Yeah.
a while back.
Right.
March of 16.
I love this job.
All right. And so this Alexander guy contacted Miss Maxine when he saw it on the list,
Right.
and you and him have had some discussions since
Correct.
then.
Correct.
Okay, and in a nutshell, are you selling it to him?
And basically he wants to purchase it and fix it up. I mean, it's structurally sound.
Has he talked to
it's
Jimmy
ugly,
about
but-
that? Has he
Yeah.
has he talked to you
Fred-
yet?
Fred Alexander called me, and I didn't know which way to go, so me and Maxine talked about it.
Right.
But what I'm saying
But-
is there hasn't been any.
Right.
He hasn't walked through this. He
No.
wants to buy it, but he hasn't walked through it with Jimmy to see what he really has to do to it.
Oh, he knows what has to be done to it, yeah.
Jimmy,
I think
Oh,
he does.
no.
You think
In
he
talking
does?
to him, yeah.
Because Jimmy's been known to, scare people away. I'm just saying.
Natalie,
Natalie.
I haven't entered into any official purchase agreement, and he's waiting to hear from Iberia Bank about some type of issue they
Who,
may
Mr.
have.
Alexander? Or
Mr.
you?
Alexander.
Has
Because
he
that we
shown
had
you
to
a pre-approval letter?
well, we had to
Oh.
notify Iberia Bank as the lien holder to see if they'll release the property.
He was worried Iberia Bank had a lien on it.
Right.
So he's trying to get in touch with them to see what the issue
If
is.
there's any issues.
Is it in foreclosure?
Because what they've talked about, that they can't find any paperwork on it at all.
Is it
So-
in foreclosure?
No, it's not in foreclosure. It's not under.
Iberia Bank is one of the people we notify.
They probably have a mortgage recording
Or judgment, I forgot which
or
it
a
was.
judgment, one of
Yeah,
those.
that's what I'm saying. We don't have a file on it.
That
No.
came from Jeff.
Yeah.
Mr. Simon?
I don't have those details, I'm sorry, I don't have those with me. But what is the proposal from the landowner?
The proposal is, yeah, because I mean, it's a perfectly good property. Like I said, it has, it looks ugly, but it's not as bad as it looks. And there's no drug activity of any kind going through it. I can verify that.
But, okay. Why is he not here tonight?
His
Yeah.
it
I'm
was his
just asking.
grandson's birthday.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be here. I'm just asking
I
why.
asked him to attend, but it was his grandson's birthday.
Okay, so you say it's not in foreclosure. Was it paid
They-
off when it burned down?
Yeah.
Have you
No,
seen it?
we've looked for if there's any foreclosure papers, and they can't find anything. That's what the problem we're having with Iberia Bank. We can't get so far, I mean, we're closer, but we can't get very much information out of Iberia Bank. And that's what we're trying to find out, if there's any liens, or if there's anything against it, or what the status is.
Did y'all do a settlement on
to
it when it
Iberia
burned?
Bank. No, they had no insurance on it, neither did,
Who's
neither-
they? I thought you were the owner.
Iberia Bank. Well, it had a mortgage on it. It had a mortgage on it, but there's no,
It had a
foreclosure that
mortgage
they know
on
of.
it. You didn't have insurance. So you're saying as the lien holder, they might have had some kind of insurance?
No, they didn't have insurance on it.
They didn't force place it.
Right. So we know that. But what we don't know is what the status is for the domain. That's what Fred's trying to find out right now, is what is the status?
Yeah, 'cause
As soon as he
that's not
finds that
adding up
status, then
for
he can
me.
move forward. He's just trying to get all the pieces together so he can move forward.
Okay,
So that's where it's at. It's no threat. It's ugly, but there's no safety threat or anything, 'cause everything is boarded up. But the biggest threat it is, you know, it's repulsive to look at. But as far as that, there's no other danger. This presents no other danger.
yeah, I'm familiar with that. I live in the
Okay.
neighborhood.
Okay, so we can definitely, if we're given time, we can definitely get this to where it's fixed up, and it's a rentable house and occupied and everything
Well,
else.
hold on. We jumping. So let's say we have two scenarios. We have a scenario where Mr. Fred comes along, I give you 30 days, and we come back here in 30 days, Mr. Fred's here. He says, I got the title work done, I'm buying it, this is what I'm gonna do to it. Okay, great, I'm on board.
Right.
I'm gonna, stalk Mr. Fred and make sure he's doing what he says and he'll be out the picture. Worst case scenario, y'all have something with the bank or whatever and Mr. Fred can't buy it. Where have you been since March of 2016?
That was the last house.
What?
Yeah, okay.
That's
You're
when
right.
it burned.
Yeah.
Okay, so where have you been since 2016 and what is your backup plan if Mr. Fred would not have come out the woodwork this week? What would you have come here and presented?
I probably would have presented putting the money, once again, depending on Iberia Bank.
But I'm saying that didn't happen.
What do you mean?
would have came here today and Mr. Fred would have never have contacted you and if
I
you
couldn't have
came-
done anything because I don't know what Iberia Bank's position is on it.
So, and you've never asked in 3 years.
I attempted to, but like I said, we dead ends. Yeah, not as, no, I haven't gotten any,
Do you currently live in the parish right now?
I'm sorry?
Do you currently live in Iberia Parish right now?
Sure do.
Okay. Do you currently live in District 1 right now?
Correct.
Okay. All right,
Votes go home,
I'm in your district.
so, do you have the means in which to fix it up?
You
You do?
should be,
Then why haven't you done anything?
because I need to find out what Iberia Bank's position
Okay.
is on it. See, everything revolves around, is contingent on this information. That's what the holdup is, and we're aggressively trying to get it right now. So we're at a place right now, we haven't been in 3 years, but we're aggressively at that right now. So everything's moving on a fast track.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
right. Yeah, okay. I'm letting him finish answering me, and then I'll.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
All right, Jeff.
What needs to be done to make the building safe?
The electrical needs to be redone, plumbing, and a lot of maintenance. The roof needs to be redone. You need a new roof, but you can't do the roof until you get the structure underneath it.
And the structure consists of 6 beams.
Well, I didn't go inside the house, so I don't know what.
Is there
how bad.
anything that can be done now to make the building safe so that we can wait for them to get the rest of the business straight?
I'm gonna make a motion to give him 30 days. But it's 30 days, that's it for me. That's it. It's been, and look, I'm a really nice person. And
I'll take your word for it. Look, that sound do not good. I'll take your word for it.
I'm sorry. It burned 3 years ago.
She's
You
nice
don't
to
even
me.
know
She's nice to me.
if you have a lien or anything on it. Like, I'm gonna need you to, you gotta get all your information. And I think 30 days is a good deal.
We still need to close our public hearing.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just letting them know. I mean, we don't need to play ring around the rosy. I know what I'm doing. I know what I plan on doing.
And 30 days to do what? I mean, in that 30 days, what is he
Well,
going to
30
do
days
to make this a safe place?
It's not unsafe. I mean, as long as it's barricaded, it's closed up. I mean, no, as long as it's locked up and sealed,
It's just burnt.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's
Just
like I
that
said, it's a superficial burn. It's not. Yeah, exactly. That's where it started, right there.
I remember that house
So that's
when
the
I
worst
ran for
spot,
office.
right?
The
So,
first time.
like I said, there is no immediate threat here. I mean, you can look at it and say that, but I mean, like I said, nobody corrals around there. There's nobody hanging
I
around
haven't
there.
had any. I've never
No-
had any
no
criminal
police
complaints on this
calls, no
house.
nothing.
It's aesthetics.
Right, that's
People
it.
are unhappy with the aesthetics of it.
So it's safe enough. I mean, it has a history of being safe enough to where it's not a threat.
He lives right by it.
I live right. The
I
grass.
mean-
The yard stays maintained.
It
There's somebody
does.
always there around it. I mean, I've got a brother that's, so I mean, there's somebody there that spends time over there during the day doing different things. He's got terminal, he's got a terminal illness that he spends most of his time over there for some reason, doing different things, tinkering with computers and whatever. It's different people have strange hobbies, but anyhow, like I said, it's not a threat.
My question was really for Jimmy. So what needs to be done to make it safe?
That's funny.
Well, it's more aesthetics, like he says. The windows are secured from the inside. It's not boarded like our ordinance reads, with plywood on the outside, so. But the electrical would have to be redone.
If he has somebody, and we have proof from our city clerk, who I do not think is up here lying,
I'll back her up.
that we have an active buyer, by 30 days, I want to know what the bank said, or if he's buying it, I want to physically see a copy of your buy
That's
sell,
fair
a
enough.
closing date. Like, I want to see paperwork. We're not just going to talk next time. I want to see something, and then I will address Mr. Alexander separately, and we can get it moving. I mean, and that's like right at the beginning of Monterey. It could be it was a cute house before. It could be a cute house, but it's been 3 years, and that's too much for me. So, a month. You'll be back in a month with Mr. Alexander.
Okay, well.
All right, Jimmy. Here, I'm gonna write my cell phone number down for you. That way you can call me.
I got to close hearing first, then we move on to making a motion.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm talking, they could ask you.
No.
Okay, any more?
Second.
Any more questions or comments?
I make a motion to
Oh,
close.
no, close public hearing.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and we have a second.
I just got told no, I couldn't.
Now, our public hearing is closed, and now we move on to a motion. Natalie, make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to revisit this property in 30 days, to speak with both the current owner and the possible future owner about whether or not a purchase is gonna be done. I've instructed them to bring a copy of the purchase agreement with the closing date information. Also, if if a purchase is not gonna, that type of transaction is not gonna take place, I wanna know what his plan is and what exactly, I want an outline of what's the whole plan, what needs to be done. You can get with Jimmy, how long it's gonna take you, and you know, what I'm looking at. Because number one is it's gonna have to be boarded up, you know, for sure by the next 30 days. It'll have to be boarded up by Christmas.
What do you mean boarded up?
I'm gonna want solid boards on every door and window, plywood, whatever, on the outside. Yeah, that's gonna be number one, and I'm gonna want a detailed plan of action for the year 2020 of what you're gonna do and when it's gonna be ready. Okay? Okay, thanks. Have a good night.
Great, so we have a second, Councilwoman Guidry. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on our motion and our second? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. Madam Clerk.
Demolition of property located at 802 East Persian Street, New Iberia, Louisiana. Is that District 5?
Yep.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Mayor, I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Councilman Guidry, thank you. I need a second. Councilman Broussard.
Where's my paper?
Is there anyone here representing this property? Yes, come up.
Let me see if I reckon. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Okay. Let me get my paper. Jesus. 80. Wait a minute. What's the address?
802 Persian.
Hold on. Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
Okay, please state your name and give us your intentions on the property.
My name is Keith Saucier. I have a potential buyer for the land. Well, we do not want the house, so I think the house needs to be demolished for sure. I would just like a, I guess a price estimate on what is the city price to demolish.
Well, that's
The
a hard
city
question.
price is gonna be a lot higher than if you do it yourself, because we have administrative fees, you got the fine. we have
Asbestos.
Asbestos testing, it goes the whole 9 yards.
Can you give them some numbers?
Not right offhand. I
Of
don't have-
people?
Yeah, I can give them L&K and Lynn Romero. Lynn called me today, said he wanted to bid on the demolition, so that's the two that I know of.
That's all I need. I'll run it down.
L&K demolition and Lynn Romero.
Okay.
If you call me tomorrow, I'll have the numbers.
Okay.
Mr. Keith, I have some questions for you before you leave. First, I want to go ahead, Mr. Mayor. You have to. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Mr. Keith, is it? And I didn't get your last name, sir.
Saucier.
Spell that for me.
Saucier.
Okay. And you and your wife are the owner of this property?
Yes.
Okay. You're next door to Miss Dolores, correct? She's the new owner of the property next to you. They're fixing it up very nicely and painting it up.
Yes,
Okay.
they wanted the property.
Yeah, yeah. You considering her? She's doing a good job next door.
Yeah, they are working on it a lot.
Okay, all right. You are aware. So when is this sale supposed to take place, sir? You know?
When we decide whether they're gonna tear the house down or what we gotta do with the house.
Okay. So you gonna do a self demolition? Is what you're saying?
I'm gonna get a price and see what it takes.
Okay. So when are we gonna know when you're gonna get a price and when it's gonna take?
I'll check on it tomorrow or this week.
Okay. So
I'll call
basically.
Jimmy back and see what he's got from the other contractor.
Okay, so basically, then I can make a motion for 30 days. So within 30 days, that should be enough time for you, huh, Mr. Keith?
Yes.
To find out LNK or whatever price is cheaper for you to do a self-demolition for 802 East Persian Street. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Correct.
So so in 30 days, you should know that, and you are gonna definitely do a self-demolition.
I will check it. If
Well,
it's a
we-
tax property, if the demolition is higher than what the property is worth, I probably won't do anything.
Okay, so either way, you.
30 days will demo.
Okay, okay.
And it'd be back to yours.
Okay, so either way, self-demolition or we take it down. You don't have a problem with that?
No.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for coming
Thank
tonight. Okay.
Any other comments?
Next question. Can I give him a number too, for a demolition person?
Sure.
Mr. Soche, I think I know a couple of people too that do demolition. If you want to compare some more prices too.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll get your number and call you and let you know after I call.
And
Can I get
also
it? No, I don't want to hold you up for a
Yeah.
number.
And also
You don't
too-
mind? What did you?
I tell you what, you might not want to
Get
see
it.
it on the camera when you come to
Yeah.
call me tomorrow. You can give me the number.
And also too, Mr. Jimmy, would you, Mr.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
no,
would you give
okay.
him my number as well when he calls you? Because I also know someone too as well. I just thought of it when Marlon said it. They'll take it down for him as well. Their license as well.
Good. Is there any further discussion?
I don't even know him personally.
What's his name? Mr. Soche.
Yes.
Would you please, would you please give me your phone number before you leave?
She's got the card with the number and everything.
You got his card?
Yeah,
Okay,
they have
thank
it.
you so much.
Good, good. Okay, seeing no more discussion, no more questions from me, I need a motion to close our public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Councilman Guidry, I need a second. Councilman Broussard.
Thank
Great.
you, Mr. Soche.
Now we'll move on and let Councilwoman Guidry make a motion.
I make a motion for self-demolition in 30 days or, depending on the price for the property owner. If not, the city would take this, dwelling down in 30 days. Demolition.
All right. See, Jeff has his hand up. Yes.
Question, are we gonna revisit in 30?
We gonna revisit.
Or are we saying, at the end of 30, if it's not down, we're taking it down with no revisit?
That is correct. That's the motion I'm trying to make. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because that's what I just asked him, and I asked him twice. It's a self-demolition. He's gonna check the price. He's gonna compare. If it's too high for him, I asked him. He said if it's better for the city to do it. He said he doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the city take it down or if he's gonna take it down. It depends on the price. He doesn't mind if it's demolition or not, and so we don't need to revisit it again. Is that right, Mr. Soche?
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
We still need to revisit.
Why we need to revisit it?
Because you give them 30 days.
It's
You
not
have to
down
have a
30
record
days,
to
he
make the
give it-
motion
he's telling
for
to
us to
tear it
do.
down. If it's not down in 30 days, he'll know next week. And
Right.
he'll call me.
Right.
That way I don't have to, I can move on with it.
So what
Okay.
we're saying is, we're gonna tear it down in 30 days.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless he beats us to it.
Correct.
So
Okay.
now to
So we have to
revisit.
revisit.
That's what
Okay.
we're saying?
Okay, cool. No problem.
Okay,
I
everybody's
just-
clear?
That's the motion.
Okay,
Thank
great.
y'all.
Yeah, so
I
we,
second.
okay.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Ledbetter, seconds. Do we have any discussion on this? Any discussion? None? Please vote your machines. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Demolition of property located at 133 Reynolds Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 3.
I need a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Broussard. I need a second.
Second.
Councilman Lewis. Is there anyone here to represent this property, 133 Reynolds?
Yes.
Come on up.
They're not the owners.
Hmm?
They're not the owners of that property.
Who is?
The daughter.
Can they represent it for their daughter? You the owner of this property?
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
Jimmy, who's the owner of that
Yeah, who-
property?
I thought the daughter was the owner, but
The owner is the daughter, Yasmin Mountain.
There's a judgment from Judge Como that came back to us.
I gave it to her, she had a very, very abusive marriage, she was like homeless. And I was overseas, and when I came back to America, I saw her, she had no place to stay. So I'm gonna give it to her because it's only in my name at that time. So, but because we married at that time, it's community property.
I see.
And I gave it to her, but the judge said I cannot do that. So I respected his decision. He said, you cannot do that because it's community property. So he had to give it back to both of us. But during the community property, because we went through a divorce, the judge said that's the only bill that come back for both of our name. I don't know why he did that.
Okay.
No.
Wait.
Here.
I talked
Yes.
to Ms. Malamar yesterday, and she had Leon Menville call me.
Yes, sir, my lawyer.
Leon told me the daughter owned the house. That's,
Yeah, Yasmin, but the judge gave us the judgment back. I really want her to have it, but the judge went and he said I can't do it because when I didn't, it was during our marriage, and he went back and reversed.
What's on the tax roll, on the assessor's side?
I don't have the detail with me, but I think we found out the daughter.
the daughter owns it.
Whose district,
Yeah.
whose district is
Yes.
this? Mr. Broussard.
Jimmy, what the inside and everything, give me a report on inside and out.
Nothing,
What it would
not,
be
the
about.
inside's burnt, the windows are busted out, the doors are open. Probably the plumbing and the electrical all need to be repaired.
Structurally,
Can I say something?
Anything can be repaired, but this has been burnt since November of 16. April of 16 was the fire date.
well, I've had many calls from
The roof-
neighbors.
The roof on
We
the other
asked,
side is,
we put a sign up at that corner. We need help. What are you gonna do with the thing? All the neighbors are asking that. What are we gonna do with the thing? But no, I'm talking, ma'am, please, David Broussard, City Councilman 3. We asked for 3 years, begged on our knees. Come do something with it. You got a big sign we put on the corner begging you to do something with it. It was stolen. He found it again, but in a big way, we talk about neighbors. We have a big dump truck right around the corner, want to just bulldoze the whole thing down if he could. You know what I mean? That's what Dave's talking about. It's sightly, bad, it's been there for 3 years, and burn houses, I'm an insurance old agent. Man, when it burns, I want to knock it, my house burns and all everybody's out, let it go. Demolish it to the ground and start again. It's not healthy. You know, wiring and all that inside. You know, I'm sorry, Mr. Adele, but the neighbors are speaking up highly about this thing gotta go. And I'm making a motion that it goes. You know, I'm sorry, but 3 years we've been fighting this. And I mean neighbors, I love my neighbors over there that are talking to me, and they work for the city, some of them. They're embarrassed. I tell them, oh, we got have it going, boy, and 6 months later, it's still up. Now we have a chance, we're gonna get rid of it. I'm talking about neighbors, Mr. Adele. And if you live next to that, I live next to that, I don't want it. And you can talk now, ma'am, or is it right for her to talk now?
Yes, Mr.
Could you
Broussard.
put the microphone,
Come for the
please?
mic. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my name is Asma Malamin. The guy with the dump truck, Mr. Livingston, he already spoke with Mr. Cynthia. He want to buy the house, and that's why he parked his truck over there, dump truck. And that's why the neighbor also cross the street, they park their cars over there.
But they have a couple other trucks in that area.
Yeah, well, he park it all the time, 24/7, his truck. He just spoke with me last week, he wanna buy it, and he been waiting for, but, you know, he got a lot of taxes on it, and I was overseas. I guess he didn't pay the taxes or whatever, you know. And that's why we waited for, if you can, but I could not do anything in it because I don't have, financially, there is no way I can remodel the house and that house means a lot to me. But thank God that me and my children, my grandbaby survived that fire that evening. And that's the only sentimental value in that house that I love about it. But we want to get rid of
more
it.
to remodel it.
Oh, I know
Then
that,
it
I
would
know,
be
and
like
I couldn't
building you
afford
house
it.
right
There
there.
is no way I can afford doing any of that.
That's just
you
my
know.
remark. I'm tired looking at it. I promised neighbors, a bunch of neighbors, and they've been there all their life.
Yes,
And,
I understand. Believe if I can financially do it, I would have done it a long time ago. I do not sleep on
We'll
stuff
help
like
you
that.
do it. and you can start over again, whatever you want to do. My motion is to demolish it.
Okay, hang on. We can't do that yet. We have to close our public hearing.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on Mr. Livingston. He said he have some trailer he put for sale, waiting to sell it so he can buy the house. So I'm just waiting on him on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, you have to give this guy a credit for taking pictures. He can make a mansion look like, you know, bad house. That house on the right-hand side, the garage started, the fire started in the garage on the right-hand side. Only that section of that house on the right-hand side been burned. The rest of it is smoke damage. This house is still solid. This house, there's a guy who wants to buy it and fix it. You know, this house is fixable. And again, it means a lot to us. That was the first house we occupied when we came to Iberia, Louisiana. So it has a lot of memories. You know, my children, 3 seconds from getting killed in that house, got buried. You know, so I can board it.
The night we burned that night at 2:17 in the morning, that evening, we just like were working on the house. It was brand new flooring, brand new walls, everything we did brand new. In the bathroom, everything we remodeled. That same evening we finished the flooring. My neighbor even laid the flooring for us. That's the same night it burned. It just inside it's a mess and smoke, that's all. But you know, it can be clean, you know, just that's about it. You know, but everything else, you know, we can board it. If you could allow us to board it and tell Mr. Livingston come up with the funds to buy it, you know.
I would like to add another thing also. If y'all look on the left-hand side of that house, there's a truck been sitting there for 6 years. 6 years. Her Mercedes and another truck on the left-hand side were sitting there untouched. Fire didn't touch the Mercedes and the truck. 14 days instead of having to come and say, I am sorry about your house has been burned. The city and our heart is with you. He came and called record service and picked up her Mercedes and the truck after 14 days. They said that the Mercedes and the truck make the community look bad. Mercedes in perfect condition.
Who came pick that up?
And that truck there is still sitting for 6 years or more. That white truck right there. I'm willing to board that house until we find a buyer for it, or the guy who wants to finish the deal. We owe a lot of taxes on that house because we lost it once. So.
Yeah, I have some questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I was in the restroom a second ago. Did we discuss how much is the tax roll, the back taxes? We haven't gotten that far?
What's that?
The back taxes. They have brought up that they owe a lot of taxes on this property. Do we have an amount of how?
Mr. Jimmy,
Go work it out.
Rough. No, do you have a rough number?
I know I can't update, but you said something in 2011, there was a difference.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how much it is. I can go work it out.
No, it's okay. I mean, they're bringing it up, so it's okay. And okay. And Yasmin, she's about my age, correct? I'm 35.
No,
She's 27.
She's only 27?
I'm not sure.
You look 35. Sure.
Oh, I'm 35. Well, I mean, like, I've seen her around, like, I've known, you know, I know who she is and stuff. No, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, she hangs around with older people too, though. Yes, okay, yeah, I've seen her. Anyway, my point being is, where is she? Because I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful, but you know, when it comes to this type of thing, this is a legal matter, and we have to hear from her. Regardless, if you sit here today and promise us that you're gonna rebuild the whole house starting tomorrow, we really can't take your word on that. You're not the owner. You
How
don't
about
have
if
the
I give you my
authority.
word that I will show you the judgment from Judge Como that this house is brought to both of us.
Our city attorney said that Yasmin is the owner of record legally. So therefore, she is the only person who can legally speak on behalf of the property. So that's my question. Why is she not here tonight? Did she know about it? Did she, or y'all just kind of
She
taking
knows
over?
about the judgment.
Hold on.
I didn't know about this
this meeting until Mr. Livingston, I met with him last week, he told me about today. And I spoke with Mr. Jimmy Landry yesterday. Then I spoke with my lawyer, Mr. Leon.
Madam, it's possible there is a judgment, but the court
The letter
wants to
came
not
back.
pay the clerk's office.
No,
not
I know about
record it, yeah.
I know about what some
That's
of
a
the
possibility,
legal stuff,
Madam.
but I'm
Certified
saying,
letter came back unclaimed.
Yeah, because I never received anything. No. I just found out about from my neighbor, the one who wanted to buy it. I said, what you talking about? He said, I'm with the king. They're gonna demolish us.
okay, because then my next question would be, is to our city attorney, you know, do we want to make a decision on a property where we do not know who the owner is, or do you think you know 100%?
I thought I knew, and Leon said?
Leon said that the daughter owned the house. He told me that yesterday.
Okay. And the daughter's address is what?
Right.
Right here, I have post office box 13632,
What city?
New Iberia.
Do y'all have a physical address for your daughter?
No, I do not know where, you know, I know she lives off J Street, but I know the address exactly.
Do you talk to your daughter?
Oh, yeah, I babysit the grandchildren all the time.
I think your daughter needs to make a call, because I think
Leon told me that it was donated to her on March of
Yes, yes.
in March of 15.
Yes, sir. And that's when the judge reversed it, because he said.
it
I
was
can't do it.
donated March of 15, but y'all divorce was
When was it?
after that.
Yeah, in June 2016.
There's a judgment from the judge.
Okay, Dr. Dell, I'm not saying that you're lying or anything
Yeah.
like that. I'm saying
It's not
we need-
filed.
if there's a judgment and it's not filed, we could have some issues.
You don't have to pay for the judgment.
Judgment has been filed.
No, stop.
We didn't?
Yeah. He asked, he talked to
That's all.
Mr. Bell yesterday, he said,
Would you feel comfortable giving our Mr. Jimmy, your daughter's phone number?
Sure, yeah. 577 161.
161.
Well, you got
Jeff.
You got
Yeah, what does the building need?
The side of it, the whole carport was burnt.
This is the only
inside-
picture that you have, Mr. Jimmy? Can we look at another picture besides the, okay.
No, that's it.
Windows all broken up,
There's another.
That's it.
doors open.
The doors are all off. The other side of the house is burnt pretty bad. It would all need to be repaired, the electrical.
We took it off, the side was burned, we took it off. Everything.
And you say somebody's purchasing this house, you said?
Yes, and Mr. Livingston Cross Street, that's why they park their vehicles and their dump truck up there.
right. I mean, I would think.
Could it be boarded
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Oh, yeah.
and be safe for now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is very solid, really, just that side where it
See if I can
burned.
live in it.
That was a Jimmy question, if I could
Oh, I'm sorry.
take over here.
Yes. All right, no, settle down, I can't even hear.
So can it be boarded and?
Yes.
And secured and be safe, Jimmy?
It would take a little work. But then how long is it gonna sit like that? The neighbors are in it up or got calls about this house.
Well, the motion can tell you that.
Okay.
Right.
You have any other discussion? Okay, then I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion
Second.
by Mr. Broussard to close the public hearing, I need a second.
Mr.
Second
Smith.
by Councilman Swift. Now, I'll go to Mr. Broussard. Mr. Broussard, do you have a motion?
Mr. Adele, we're gonna give you every shot we have.
Now, how
I've
many
been
times
knowing
I
you a
need to
lot,
tell
I'll
you,
give you
call
every
me
shot.
back to-
Miss
I'm
Sherry, what you did on the last property? What you did on the last property?
Yes, sir.
30 days, board the house, board up the doors, get the buyer over here in 30 days that might wanna buy it. If it's not all here by 30 days, all boarded up, all doors up, and the buyer's not here to say he's gonna buy it, then we'll work with him. It's gonna come down that day, so we want it 30 days from now. It'll be we have the whole house boarded up, doors all boarded up, and he has a new buyer here. Now, at the end of that day, if he doesn't have the buyer here, we gonna demolish it. Same thing Sherry had with the property before. So we're giving you 30 days
Mr. Broussard. Oh, yeah.
and have the daughter here that is in jeopardy of, and have her here then within that 30-day time. The daughter here, board up your house, which we next for 3 years. We haven't seen one board. That's what got me upset the most. All the windows out, everything going right through it. They all worried about the drugs going through that house. So we worried about that. And that's more than the burnt house. It's been 3 years wide open. So people, I mean, Jimmy can tell you, we have 12, 15 neighbors calling me every month. When is that thing gonna come down? So we lucky we giving you 30 days to board it, find your new buyer, have them here, and the daughter here. Now, if nothing happens by then, it's gone. We go tear it down.
So is this a
30 days.
revisit?
We go tear, just how Sherry set up a one before.
Okay.
If everything's not done by 30 days, we go tear it down for you.
Wait,
30 days, at least board it. Go find some boards. Show me you're doing something. But we need the new buyer here because
I sent you the boarding policy, still have it.
What if the guy changed his mind?
Going out, we turned it down. Giving you 30 days to board it up. If you don't at least do that, you know, for the neighbors, keep the crime out of it. You know, it's terrible.
Good neighborhood, I mean, I lived there for so many years.
Oh, no, they go walk the block and ask if they want that thing down. I've walked it. They all, 3/4 want it down.
We have a
So,
motion on the floor.
a motion.
And our city attorney has his hand up, so.
I just have a question about, okay, we've done several things tonight. We've said, in 30 days, come back, board it up, come back with a plan.
With the new owner.
And in that situation, it comes back to you and you make a decision later.
That's a revisit.
That's a
Like,
revisit.
tear it down at 30 days.
Okay. Then we had one where we said, we're gonna demolish it in 30 days if you don't do it first. Now, that's a decision tonight to demolish.
Yeah.
So which one of those are we talking about here? Because if we want to see them come back and we want a plan and we want the daughter to come back, then that's really a revisit in 30 days.
I think we should give it a chance, since it's under the daughter's name, I think we're giving them a chance in 30 days at least to have that daughter, which is one of the owners here,
So it'll be revisit.
before we get sued.
And let's verify that, you know.
And give them a chance to board it up in them 30 days out of a good faith.
Why
And
should
have
I
the
go
new
board?
buyer here.
Why should I board it then? If you're gonna demolish in 30
Oh, let's tear it
days?
down tonight.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Let's tear it down tonight. I'm changing my motion, tear it down tonight.
Oh.
All right, I'll second that motion.
Motion on the floor to
I
tear it
second.
down. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Swear.
Councilman Swear second. We have any discussion? Hang on. We have any discussion
I
on
mean,
this?
So did we get good notice on the daughter?
I'm not supporting it, not because I don't support you, but because just because Leon Menville told her, who's telling Jimmy, who's telling us, that
Jeff
the
did the
daughter.
research.
Okay.
Jeff said, but Jeff also said it could not. I still want to check with the divorce, with whatever Como says. Como knows this case. I mean, I'm not. It'll probably go through without me, but I'm just saying, me from a legal standpoint, I want to know for sure who is the owner of this property before I vote to demo it. Jeff, can you say with 100%?
30 days, have the daughter here.
Wait, Mr. Broussard.
Or we tear it down.
Please, hang on.
Yeah, I thought I could. And I did the research and I thought I could, and I think Leon agrees with me.
I talked to
That the
Leon
daughter's the
myself.
record owner. There
He
could
told
be
me the
some
daughter
judgment
owned the house.
between these two about what they can do with community property. Record owner's the daughter. What concerns me is the address. They don't seem to have an address for her. And we use the post office box.
That's what
Is
I'm
that her
saying.
address?
Yeah.
I mean, she's 27 years old. She's old enough to be able to get down here or answer a phone call from Jimmy. I mean,
Did they tell their daughter about this?
did y'all tell your daughter about tonight?
No, I didn't have the chance to talk to her. I didn't get that.
There's a judgment. She
But
knows
knows
about
about it. I didn't ask you there was judgment. I asked you if you told Yasmin about tonight.
Yasmin's out of all this.
No,
Okay. My suggestion is, give you 30 days. In the meanwhile, you board it up. We revisit in 30 days with all three of you here.
Okay, we asked you that the first time. So,
Yeah.
you willing to do
But
that?
and if Dr. Dale, if when y'all come back in 30 days, if our attorney says Yasmin is the owner, Yasmin's who we're gonna talk to. Okay, y'all have said your piece to us about what y'all want to do, your sentimental value to the house, this, that, and the other. When we come back next month, y'all can come to support her, please. But Yasmin is who we're gonna need to speak to, okay? Y'all have to understand that legally, if she is the owner, then legally, that's who we have to talk to, okay?
She knows.
Now, let's not go back and forth over something that Yasmin needs and deserves to have a say-so in. Thank you.
That's my.
Okay, well, now we need a substitute motion. We had a motion on the floor and we had a second.
I want to do it the lawyer mentioned, word for word.
I'll make a substitute motion to revisit this in 30 days.
Natalie, let Mr. Broussard make his
doing what the
motion.
lawyer
He
just
can't
meant.
make the substitute.
Okay.
Okay,
She's making my motion.
that's fine.
He can't make a substitute motion because he
Because he
made
made a
the
motion.
original
It's
motion,
true.
Ms.
That's
Guidry.
good, yep.
That's what I'm doing. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to stop Mr.
No, because we had a
Broussard.
motion and a
I'm
second.
sorry.
He
You're
can't make
You're
it.
right.
Okay.
So I need a substitute.
Yes, okay. I'd like to make a substitute motion to revisit this property in 30 days for the council to have an opportunity to speak with the owner of the property, Ms. Yasmin Mahalame, at which time our city attorney will give us an update and double verify that she is in fact the owner. And in the meantime, we are asking her parents to relay to her that that house needs to be boarded up within the 30 days, and they have given her cell phone number to Mr. Jimmy, who is also gonna contact her and let her know the outcome of this meeting.
Great. I have a substitute motion on the floor and a second by the Mayor Pro Tem. Is there any discussion on our substitute motion? Then I would ask you to please all vote your machines. Good, thank y'all, thank you. And that got technical. We did a good job. Thank y'all. All.
Always a problem.
Okay, now we're moving on to our next one.
Demolition of property located at 604 Rosalie Street, New Iberia, Louisiana.
Sick baby at home.
I need a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Thank you. Motion by Councilman Lewis. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Broussard. Is there anyone here representing 604 Rosalie? Anybody here?
All I know is they got DirecTV.
Don't see anyone here. Don't hear anything. So let's go to Jimmy. Jimmy, give us a report.
Okay, this house burnt on February the 3rd, 2018.
Okay.
The roof, the roof, the structure, maintenance, and the electrical needs
Okay.
to be all redone.
All right. Any questions for Jimmy? No questions for Jimmy? Then I need a motion to close our public hearing. Motion, Councilman Lewis. Need a second.
Second.
Councilman Broussard. Now, I call on Councilman Lewis. It's your district.
Well, again, I'm looking at about 25,000 just to make a nice little cottage. But we're gonna save them some money, and I'm gonna make a motion to demolish it. Really, because nobody's here tonight to even talk about what they want to do with it. And we've been dealing with this house since 2018, and I feel like we need to be making some ordinances on burnt houses. Like after so long, they automatically demolished
Yeah.
because they're very unsafe.
We have an ordinance committee.
We need to make some ordinances on burnt houses so we don't even have to, because everybody got a plan for their burnt house. And he's right, insurance, never did insurance, but people normally when their houses burn, they get their insurance money and they're gone. And then they leave us with this. So, motion to demolish.
Motion to demolish. I have a second. I have a second by Councilman
You got-
Ledbetter, and I can see
our
through the corner of my
attorney
eye, our attorney has his
Yeah.
hand up.
Give you notice on this?
Do we?
Okay.
The letter came back unclaimed.
Local address.
Chaston Road.
All right, so I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion on this? Any discussion at all? None? Please vote your machines. Thank you. Madam Clerk? M.
Demolition of property located at 711 Rosalie Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 2.
I need a motion to open our public hearing on 711 Rosalie. Anybody here representing this property? Oh, wait, motion open.
Motion.
Sorry. Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman Lewis, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anybody here to represent this property? Seeing, hearing no one. Jimmy, give us a report.
Back end of the trailer is missing.
Okay. It'll make the demo cheap. No, I quit.
The floor's all rotten. The electrical's off. I think Marlon's gonna save somebody some money. The letter came back unclaimed.
All right. Do we have any questions for Jimmy? No questions for Jimmy? I need a motion to close our public hearing.
Motion.
We had a bunch of them, I think. Councilman Lewis and Councilman Broussard. Thank y'all. All right. Now I'll call on Marlo, it's your district.
I'm gonna save them some money. I'm gonna save them a lot of money. We're gonna get what's the Three Little Wolves? Huff and puff and blow it down. I think we can blow that one down.
All right. We have a motion to demolish.
Got a motion to demolish.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Councilman Broussard. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. Now, unfortunately, we come to our last property tonight. N.
Demolition of property located at 203 School Alley, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 5.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Wait, what? Okay.
Oh, they demolished it.
They demolished it themselves.
All right.
Okay.
Are those tires still there?
I'd have to go check.
Let's put that
Okay,
on the list,
so-
Jimmy.
I can do a jump.
Do we want to do a junk on it?
I can.
Okay. Jeff, if
I'll
we,
call the, I know we got it.
do I need a motion to take it off the list? Do I need a motion to do anything, any action at all?
Need to act on it.
Okay.
It's gone.
All right, well, good.
Tires out the way.
Yeah, I would like you to check on those tires if you don't mind. Great. Okay, that concludes our demolition list for tonight. Now we'll move on to a discussion item. Item 6. Madam Clerk? Yeah.
Discussion by David Broussard on DOTD Railroad Crossing Project.
Whoa, excuse me. Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, 312, on the official list that was published on March the 28th, 312 Wayne Street was a part of that official list. I'm sorry.
312 Wayne was torn down.
It was-
Okay,
Right, I knew it was going.
Okay, thank y'all so much. All right.
Another victory.
Yeah, another victory. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So Mr. Broussard is, has a discussion item?
Yes.
Mr. B, you have the floor.
Revised list to include French and Providence Streets, first of all, by Mr. Bill Shrewsbury, confirmed this. I am requesting that the New Iberia City Council send a resolution to DOTD of Louisiana requesting them to move the railroad crossing projects forward with the highest priority level possible. Also send a copy of our resolution to State Senator Mr. Fred Mills and to our local delegation of Louisiana. Secretary of DOTD, Mr. Sean Wilson. DOTD Safety Director for Railroad Crossing, Mr. Bill Shrewsbury. Today I am pleased to report to the council that the following projects have been included in the Louisiana DOTD Project Priority Program for fiscal year 2018-2019, and they are scheduled for letting. This will help improve safety at our railroad crossings. The DOTD Highway Priority Program fiscal year 2018 to 2019, and the DOTD project numbers are, remember these are state highway projects, Louisiana Highway Project number H0.009860 shows 1.64 million to install the warning arms and flashing lights, including French, install safety warning and flashing lights, Providence Street, install safety warning arms and flashing lights. Again, this was not on the original book in here, but Mr. Bill Shrewsbury told me himself that they are on the list. LA Highway Project number H.009856 Julia Street. Install safety warning arms and flashing lights. LA Highway Project number H.011291 Dale Street. Install safety warning arms and flashing lights. LA Highway Project number H.009857, install Iberia Street safety warning arms and flashing lights. LA Highway project number H.009861, that's Center Street, LA 14 to French Street, elevating railroad tracks. LA Highway project number H.009891, Week Street, install safety warning arms and flashing lights. LA Highway project number H.009862. This project is closing Caroline Street Railroad Crossing. Make note in resolution that the New Iberia City Council is not in favor of closing Caroline Street Crossing. If I may, safety at railroad crossings through the center of New Iberia have been an issue for years. I would like to add that I've been working on improving this safety issue in New Iberia at railroad crossings that goes back to 2008. Now they have a booklet with all this I just read to you in the State Highway Priority Program, and what we're doing tonight is pushing our projects forward that we have funded. We have other projects on this whole list that are jumping above us. So this resolution, which they've asked me, these three men that I read their names, all asked me to send a resolution stating our support for this priority list. So, Mr. Mayor, if we can get a resolution rigged up for next meeting, I think it'll be very nice for the whole city.
We'll rig one up.
You know, if you don't mind, please.
No, we'll put together a resolution.
If you don't mind, sir.
Not
I'm
at
just
all.
trying to stay on top of this, which we have monies at the state for this program. But if you do not stay on top of it, they'll sit on it. And we want it to move up.
All right. Any questions or comments? Yes, Dan.
Well, first, I want to thank Mr. Broussard because all those lights you're seeing is because of him, honestly. Did a lot of work for it. But talking to people earlier that came about Caroline Street, on May of 2018, we sent a resolution opposing to close Caroline Street. And I have no problem supporting any resolution to continue that. We still feel that way, you know. But it's been, you know, and we this council don't know, Natalie knows a little bit, and Mr. Broussard has been years that he started trying to get this overpass or
we here together.
underpass. He didn't care, just so he got something, but he got crossroad arms, and it saved lives. There's no joke. It was, and his connection with Kathleen Blanco, the governor, is why it happened.
It's why we
And-
have the Armicola pump
Yeah.
station as well.
So I want to applaud his efforts, because one thing about Mr. Bruce, I don't want to be on the bad side of it. He's on a mission, he goes after it. And we appreciate all your work, Mr. Bruce, all what you did for this,
Yes, sir. Thank
because
you.
it's saving lives every day.
Thank you, sir.
And I have no problem supporting your resolution.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good. Councilwoman Guidry.
I just want to agree with with our Mayor Pro Temp. There's one thing about Mr. Broussard, whenever he's after something, you know, I don't want to be on his bad side too. But I remind him the other day too, he don't want to be on my bad side, and for him not to harass me. No, I'm just kidding. But I just want to thank Mr. Broussard for putting this, you know, on the agenda. I really appreciate that. And it's because of him also too that I see some arms and lights in my district as well. Mainly, I think I see one on Dale Street by the LaSalle Gas Company. I got one question. Project number 00862. I'm sorry, 00961. When it comes down to French Street, it doesn't necessarily say it on the project number. It just talks about raising the tracks in my district on French Street. It talks about from LA 14 to French Street to raising the track, but it doesn't say like the rest of the projects. If you look on the cover sheet where it's highlighted, everything else says safety arms, warning arms, and flashing lights. But when it comes down to French Street, it just says raising the track. So Mayor or Mayor Pro Temp, can y'all clarify that for me? When it on French Street, is it just gonna be raising the track, or am I also included in that project for my district for arms and flashing, warning arms and flashing lights.
We're gonna turn that over to the railroad expert, Mr. Broussard.
Miss Sherry, you brought that up to me, which I'm grateful. You brought that up, that it wasn't on the list. I called Mr. Bill Shrewsbury, like I stated in the beginning. All these projects are under 6-0. French, Providence, he mentioned, he covered me up again. Yeah, every one, but they have a separate number for each one, but they all, that 1.644, including Providence and French, are under 6-0. That's his direct word from the state, himself. That's Mr. Bill, he does all these arms and lights, so I want to clear that up.
So are we gonna include that in the resolution?
Oh, yeah, hope he does, clear that he
So
does.
who's writing this resolution, Ms. Maxine?
Our city clerk will write the resolution.
So Ms. Maxine, Ms. Maxine, you're gonna include the actual street name, French Street, in that resolution? Okay, thank you so much.
Good, thank you. Dustin, you had a question?
I do. Okay, it's listed on here that the closing of Caroline Street. Now, we did in May, was it May? We just said,
Yeah.
we
May
sent
of
a resolution to oppose Caroline Street closing, but it's lumped together in this whole.
Yep.
So we're sending them a resolution to say we want all this pushed forward, but Caroline Street closing is in that. So that's where I'm kind of.
When Mr. Broussard was putting his together, he said we want to push forward the project, but say we don't want Carolina closed. He did state that.
That's why it's so important.
So they're coming back. Are they coming back and saying no? We're going to close it in order to. That's what I.
At some point, a crossing is going.
I'm not saying I'm for that. I'm just saying,
I know.
is that something that's
When
going to happen?
I met with the head of the department,
Yeah.
and he said at some point a crossing is going to be closed.
Okay.
And which one we either decide or the railroad decides, or DOTD decides. But one crossing, when this project comes to fruition, something is going to be closed. If we state we want them to close it, then that's what this will say. We'll let them make that decision. But we will have to clarify that in our resolution.
Yeah, that's.
Broussard, I commend you on this. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. Keep pushing like you're doing, but I just wanted to ask that question to make sure it's clear.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Mr. B, I'll get you a resolution for the next meeting. And now we have an item we need to expand the agenda for. I'll need to at least explain to you a minimum of what it is. This is concerning the Hopkins Street Economic Development District. There's some money from the state that they're eligible to receive. They are in line to receive it, but we need to take this step so that they can report back as the development district the beginnings of a plan. And the state is asking them in no uncertain terms to quickly deliver a plan. So I need a motion to expand the agenda to discuss this Hopkins Street Economic Development. I have a motion by Councilman Lewis and a second by Councilwoman Guidry. Is there any discussion? If not, please vote your machines to expand the agenda. Great. Now this item is basically on our agenda, and so now we take it from the beginning again. I will need a motion to well, Madam Clerk, read the.
Under item 4B, resolution authorizing the city of New Iberia to enter into an agreement with Hopkins Street Economic Development District for fiscal year 2020 to offer support and work hand in hand with the development district.
I'll need a motion. Motion by Councilman Lewis and a second by Councilwoman Guidry. Is there any discussion on this item? Any discussion or comment?
Okay.
All right. Yes. Councilwoman Guidry.
I just want to make a real quick comment. This is just another opportunity for both entities, the City of New Iberia and the Hopkins Street Economic Development, to serve the community, support it, and enhance what already exists, to move forward and what we have now. This is a true representation of what I ran for office for, and all of you that's sitting up here, to help remove barriers and also engage the people we serve. And I want to thank the Honorable Mayor of this city and also the City Council in a collaborative effort and approach, and all the commissioners of Hopkins Street Economic Development, and whom I have the privilege to serve with on this board. And also to their vice president as well, and also Councilman Marlon Lewis, and also President Zach Mitchell, and also Ms. Jane is also helping us with this as well. And I'm just working on side a bunch of great group of people, and hopefully in the future we will have the buy-in of the city on some great projects that we could work on in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Okay, basically
Yes, sir.
what it is we're working on time, and we are looking for the city to make sure that the city understands and our constituents understand that anything that we do in the West End, that we have the city's support. Anything that we do on Hopkins Street, we have and it's the district, it's not just Hopkins Street, that anything we do in that area, we have the city's support. And that's what this resolution for agreement is about, that we have the support, and then later on we come and ask for some money.
I understand, and of course, you have the city's full support. Every street in this town, every district. I wish we had an economic development district for every facet of town. So anything we can do to develop, to work as a team, to serve our communities, that's what we need to do.
And look, and I forgot one thing. And the reason for this district more than ever is because it was once a thriving area for black businesses, for minority businesses, and we just want to use this as a tool to try our best to revitalize that area and bring commerce back to that area. We got to remember it's also a state highway, so
yes,
we have a golden opportunity, and we have a vessel in which to get to where we're trying to go.
Look, we are behind you 100%, and as y'all all know, I'll take any grant money I can get, no matter where it is, no matter what it is, because, or what it's for in some instances, because we are going to take this city forward, and it's all about momentum, and we'll take all we can get. Any further discussion? Then I would ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. Our next item is Councilman's remarks. And Dustin, I'm starting on your side.
Thank you. Tonight I just want to say gumbo cook-off was this past weekend. My wife and brought the kids down there and walked over, and it was a good time. I actually cooked in it for quite a few years in a row, and it was actually nice to go enjoy it and eat a bunch of gumbos and enjoy the day. So I want to thank the chamber and all their work that what they did to put that on, and thank the community for going out and supporting it. So, and that's it for tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilman Goodman.
Lost an aunt today, passed away, and she was an educator for SMILE program, taught a lot of kids from Iberia Parish. So she will be sorely missed. So my condolences to the entire family. It's a lot of last names comprised of this family, so I'm not going to sit here and begin to name them. So appreciate your supports and prayers at this time. Don't forget about the candle light vigil at the Steamboat Pavilion on October the 16th at 6 p.m. Let's come out and honor the survivors, and remember to support the victims who lost their lives due to domestic violence. And if you know anyone that's going through it, maybe come out and sit through some of this and listen to it. Maybe you can listen to some of it and maybe get some tips on how to help them. I think City Hall is holding a trunk or treat on October the 31st. Maybe a costume contest in the parking lot. So come out and have some fun with that. And I think there's a Stop the Bullying rally, walk and run and roll on October the 26th. Holiday Inn Express, sponsored by the Blessed New Iberia. Contact them for more information. There's a dear pastor, Lily Lockett, that has passed away. I remember giving the Tight and Right Cleanup Initiative, and she was one of the first pastors that showed up on the scene when I first took office and gave the Tight and Right, and she was much older than all of you all in the room, and she was there picking up trash. So she has passed away and gone on to glory. So my prayers and support for the Lockett family tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Peter.
Neighborhood Watch for District 4. We're going to have a candidate showcase on this Thursday, October the 17th at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Slyman Theater. Candidates in the runoff for sheriff, city marshal, and state representative for District 48 have been invited to make presentations. Refreshments will be served and all are invited to attend. I would also like to invite everybody to St. Edward St. Jude Church Annual Church Bazaar, which will be October the 18th through the 20th on the Friday. We're having fish dinners from 10:30 to 1, and Super Bingo starting at 7 p.m. On Saturday, the church parade starts at 12, and then the booths and the church activities, the fun activities start at 1, and they'll close at 8. We do have a 4 o'clock mass that day. Also, gumbo, you can get gumbo starting at 4:30, and the bingo also starts that Saturday at 5:30. There will be entertainment by a DJ. And finally, on Sunday, our masses are at 7 and 10 o'clock. Sunday, the dinner is barbecue chicken from 10:30 to 1 p.m. There's a car, bike, and truck show from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the booths open at 12. There'll be musical entertainment from 12 o'clock noon until DJ and live music performances from Nebu Neezy and Wayne Singleton and Same Old Two-Step. Also, bingo starts at 3 until the end, and also gumbo at 4. So come on out and have some fun. Bring the family and friends with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Pro Tem. What you got, Dan?
Well, we all knew we had a big election this weekend, and since my sign ordinance didn't pass, I would ask the people to go and pick up their signs if they lost. Because we got a lot of rain and that coming, and it's going to be all over the streets. But please go pick up your signs. Next thing, Catholic High is having homecoming this week, Thursday afternoon, probably around 4:35 down Main Street. It's going to start about where Ann Street is, coming down Main Street. Go and support the school. I'll be in the parade. And anyway, and next thing, I think that the city of New Iberia citizens won big in October. If you look at your report, we were like 14.4% up on our sales tax. And it's because of the citizens of this town buying stuff here. And that's big. That's a record. I mean, I don't remember being on this council having a 14.4% increase in 1 month. So I want to thank the citizens, thank this council. All the positive things we do as a council does put things forward for the city. And I think we're in the right direction. And it's just I'm glad to see that, because if it next month is good, we might have some little extra money to spend and maybe get some more projects done. Thank you.
Thank you. Broussard.
Again, like Dan, appreciate everybody going out and vote. Who did go vote? You're right to vote. And thanks for all the candidates, all of them, for putting their name out there to run for office. It takes a lot to do that. So we appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Marlo.
Yeah, man, I want to piggyback off of my colleagues. I want to encourage everybody to go out and vote on the November 16th runoff. Locally, as Ms. Ledbetter, Dr. Ledbetter says, we have our sheriff, which is a very important race. I think we have some state rep seats. But more importantly, the governor's race, we definitely want to encourage people to go out and vote. Also, I'm gonna piggyback again. You made this appropriate for me to say. Football is just a sport, but I want to commend and I'm proud of Westgate Tigers for upsetting the #2 school in the state, St. Thomas More, and they never beat St. Thomas More before. A lot of those kids come to my shop. A lot of them live in the district, and it ain't even about the district. But a lot of those kids, you know, it's just sports is like life. You know, it teaches you how to win, and it teaches you how to take a loss. But I tell you, man, it feels good to win. You know, especially against a powerhouse in our area. So congratulations, Westgate Tigers, on that victory.
Great, thank you. Councilman Lopez.
I'm the same with voting, you know. Thank you to everyone who went vote. And just remember, you know, that your job is not over. The most important part is left. And that's, you know, these four decisions for us, you know, whether or not you care who the governor is, whether or not you care who the state rep is, the marshal, or the sheriff. If you care about the city of New Iberia, you're going to go out and vote in all four of those races because they all do directly affect you in many, many, many ways. And those are all seats that are most likely, once elected, going to be held for more than one term because they're, you know, it's usually seats that hold for a while. So please educate yourself. And if the person you were supporting didn't come out like you wanted, you know, I always tell people, I don't tell people what to do or how to vote. But if the person you were supporting didn't make it, call them, talk to them, because 9 times out of 10, they have a lot more insight than you do about what's left on the table. So educate yourself. Educate yourself. We're going to have forums. Luckily, you know, this time now, lots are being posted on YouTube, so you don't even have to leave your house. And you don't have to read an article or watch the news and get a one-sided opinion. You can see it with your own 2 eyes. So that's my take on it. Please educate yourselves over the next month because these are things that are going to greatly affect this board up here.
Thank you. I want to thank this council. It was a long meeting, but we got a lot accomplished. Working together, we're going to keep making a difference. Our next meeting is November the 5th, and I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Thank y'all.